back to the SEC on ESPN as the Gamecocks take the field, trying to protect home turf tonight as underdogs against the 4th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Typically, games in this series close, decided by a touchdown or less 11 out of 14 times. The Rebels must open the SEC campaign with a couple of road games, so this is their first real test of 2009. And the nation sort of looking in to see if this team is worthy of that ranking, if they are true contenders to win the SEC West and perhaps the BCS. Steve Spurrier been in this position many times. His team went to Oxford and knocked off the Rebels a week after Ole Miss had beaten Florida in the Swamp. And Spurrier, a very young team, but a good feeling about these Gamecocks. Aaron on the field with Houston Nutt.
Thanks, Chris. Coach, in your team's first big test of the season, what's the #1 thing you need them to focus on tonight?
Right now, this first 5 minutes, handle this wave of emotion, crowd noise. Jevin, just take care of the ball for us. Backs, take care of the ball. Defense, play hard.
What about Jevin? What's most important for him to concentrate on?
Just the main thing is to just take care of the ball. You don't have to force it. You don't have to be Superman every play. Take care of the ball for us.
All right, Coach, thank you. Chris?
Aaron, thanks so much. Houston is revved up. He's got to manage his adrenaline, Jesse, and so does his quarterback. That's been the problem for Snead. A little too much gas early on.
Jevin Snead wears number 4 because he's a huge fan of Brett Favre. And Brett Favre, early in his career, would get very anxious early in games. He'd throw those hard laser balls that used to drive his old head coach, Mike Holmgren, absolutely crazy. I've played the position. I know you can get very pumped up in big atmospheres like this. Jevin Snead has to just relax, play within himself early.
I tell you who you played for was Steve Spurrier. And Steve Spurrier is a guy who has to match the intensity and the focus and the strategy of Houston Nutt tonight. It's going to be a very emotional start to this game. Obviously, Ole Miss wants to come out showing who they are and what they're going to be.
Cocky getting the home crowd revved up. It's a steamy night here in South Carolina. Both these teams played last Saturday. Depth could be a factor as we get into the 3rd and 4th quarter. Fairly humid. But high 80s under the lights in Columbia as we're set to kick it off. South Carolina won the toss, and the ball coach said, "We'll take it" to start the game. Kicking off for the Rebels, the freshman, Andrew Ritter. Bryce Sherman, who is the true freshman sensation for Steve Spurrier's team. He goes about 5'5", 150. He will try to get this evening off to an electric start for the home team. The little man will have a chance at the 6. Gets the corner. Bryce Sherman up near midfield, but a flag is down at the 30-yard line. So he shows you why they're excited. Not many people recruited this guy at 5'5", 150, but Sherman the Worm has been tough to tackle for the team and as a scout team back. Now we'll check the flag.
During the return, holding. Number 16 on the receiving team. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Spoils good field position. Gamecocks will start at the 21 now.
Again, a different mindset and makeup of the South Carolina offense after their opening game against NC State. They're ready now to come out and be multiple, throwing it and running it.
Steven Garcia, a sophomore now, has grown up a lot. His game management much improved. He's in the shotgun. Brian Maddox is the setback next to him, and they flip it to him in the flat. Incomplete. Close to being a lateral, but ruled incomplete as we check the impact players for South Carolina.
Well, at 6'5", watch for South Carolina to take advantage of their big tight end, Wesley Saunders, against smaller linebackers over the middle of the field.
Yeah, but Jesse, it's hard to focus on him because on the outside, he's got Torrey Gurley, 4 receptions, 100 yards last week. Very good down the field as well.
I mean, Ole Miss gets the ball. Keep an eye on Eric Norwood, 2-time All-SEC player. As Craig said in the open, always making big plays, and he lives for these big national TV games. On 2nd and 10, Garcia flips it across the middle, and he finds his tight end, Wesley Saunders, who's the leading receiver on this team, but they'll keep a close eye on him tonight. Alan Walker on the tackle.
Going back to Steven Garcia, Coach Spurrier pointed back to the game 2 weeks ago against Georgia as a real turning point for his young quarterback. It was a career day for Garcia. He really started buying into the system. He's playing the way Steve Spurrier now wants him to play, and because of that, the offense has really blown up here in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Saunders had 8 catches in the Georgia bowl game. 3rd and 7. Little option look and a pitch on the edge. And cutting it back and taking a big hit short of the first down is Brian Maddox. Good job by Kendrick Lewis. The senior free safety met the physical Maddox short of the marker.
All right, now you're going to see an option here. Watch, there's a linebacker on the inside. The safety is way over as well. So they've got the corner, Jesse. It's a great strategic call by South Carolina.
And the safety, Kendrick Lewis, used to play wide receiver. He said the one thing he really had to work on was the physicality of the game and tackling. He showed a great job right there. He's made the switch.
Marche Green had all kinds of trouble. Southeast Louisiana game on Saturday. Actually fumbled 3 punts against a left-footed punter. They lost 2 of them. Extra practice this week for Marche. And he takes the safe route and calls a fair catch at the 30-yard line. Amazing he kept his job after putting it on the ground 3 times. So now Jevin Snead will go out there, Jesse, and try to manage all that adrenaline that's going through his body right now.
Well, and again, going back to what we talked about, Houston Nutt had made the mention. He's been pressing early in these last 2 games he plays. There is no question he has all the tools to excel at the next level in the National Football League. But for this game tonight, for his team to win, he has to take what the defense gives him and not try to be the hero tonight.
And he should have a good running game, typical of Houston Nutt's teams. Brandon Bolden, the sophomore back who blew onto the scene as a freshman last year, has the first carry, but they string it out. Hakeem August on the stop. Impact players for Ole Miss.
Well, Dexter McCluster is a game breaker. You'll see him lined up at wide receiver as a running back, and you'll see him take direct snaps from the wild rebel formation.
Yeah, multiple threats on this team. Brandon Bolden, I like his pad level, the way he runs the football, plus he can catch it out of the backfield.
Shea Hodge, the SEC's active leader in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. On 2nd down, play action to Bolden. Now they flip it to him out of the backfield. He breaks a couple of tackles and then is hammered by Matthews. Cliff Matthews lost his hat on the tackle, and a flag is down. The illegal block against Ole Miss.
Illegal block in the back. Under 75 on the offense. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay 2nd down.
And they got one of the 2 new starters up front, Rickshaw Johnson, the right guard.
Even though there was a penalty on that play, Craig, you can see the offensive coordinator, Ken Austin, trying to get his quarterback into a rhythm, giving him an easy screen pass to get him comfortable and confident.
Very good call. Good point.
Only 8 penalties the first 2 games for Ole Miss. Haven't been a problem. That's a costly one. 2nd and 20. He wanted to go deep, tried to dump it to Bolden, but way off target.
And the other thing that's obvious in this game early on is the speed of the defenses. Both defenses really putting pressure on the blockers, and the receivers, Jesse, doesn't look like they can shake loose there.
Well, and Jevin Snead doesn't always look to be totally on the same page as his wide receivers and running backs, and I think a big reason why he missed that week of practice 2 weeks ago when he had the flu. He lost a lot of that practice time.
Wait a minute. How can you not find your running back? It doesn't matter if you practice or not. He's right there.
Against Southeast Louisiana, it looked the same way.
It's not like he's 20 yards downfield.
Big fella. You gotta find your running back when he's 5 yards away. 3rd down. Pressure. And hit in the backfield. Here's Mr. Primetime, Eric Norwood. He had shared the school record for sacks coming in with 26. Now he owns it himself.
Eric Norwood is a guy that just lives in the backfield. He's got so much speed. There he is on the top of your screen, Jesse. You can't back up like that as a tackle.
Last year, Ole Miss had Michael Oher on the left side of the line. He's a first-round pick for the Ravens. Not there anymore. That left side of the line is the weak spot for this Ole Miss offensive line.
Punting a problem last week. And a new punter, Tyler Campbell, is a true freshman replacing Justin Sparks, who had a couple of short ones. How about this? The true freshman goes in there for his first boot. Hostile territory, deep in his own end of the SEC, and gets a good one away. August able to squirt into Ole Miss territory. Ball on the ground and a couple of flags down. Shows faith in the young guy. Tyler Campbell again. That's not exactly a comfortable way to debut your career as a punter. I guess you got to start sometime. 47-yard boot.
Nor is it a good start for South Carolina special teams. 2 penalties on them back to back.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 9 on the receiving team. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
You're right, Craig. That's twice decent returns have been spoiled by penalties. And a penalty huge in Ole Miss's opening possession. The head ball coach and company back with work after this. Last Thursday we saw the U derail the Randall Wreck. Now a third straight tough conference game to open the season in Blacksburg. Saturday 3:30 Eastern time. We'll talk much more about that game coming up. Possession 2 for the Gamecocks. And Jarvis Giles, the true freshman tailback, with those locks coming out of the back of the helmet there. A nice gain on first down before Johnny Brown brought him down. They're very excited about this new guy.
Absolutely. He had a career day last week. He's only a freshman, so it's not there to get that career day, but 113 yards. He was the SEC Freshman of the Week for his performance against FAU. He's got a lot of shake and bake, Craig.
Well, let me tell you this. If South Carolina's offensive line can, against 8-man front like that was right there, have that kind of success tonight, it's going to be a good night for South Carolina.
Best way to tackle Giles is to grab onto that hair. He's going to have a lot of career days before his career is over at South Carolina. Big future. High formation on 2nd and 2. He's got it again. This time has to muscle ahead. Armor on the stop. It'll be 3rd and short.
I think it's very critical for South Carolina today to be very balanced on offense. You go back and you watch them week 1 against NC State. They ran the football a lot. Stephen Garcia threw it 53 times against Georgia the following week. They were more balanced last week against FAU. This is a good Ole Miss defense they're playing tonight. They got to keep them on their heels, but to do that, they have to stay balanced.
See if they run it on 3rd and 2. Brian Maddox, the 225-pounder, lined up behind the fullback, DeMarco. Little option look. Garcia pitches to Maddox, and he gets the corner and just gets the first down before Emmanuel Stevens drives him out.
Steve Spurrier and the offense here tonight, they realize that the pressure's on them to perform, knowing that Jevin Sneed has it there. But you know what, guys, we've been covering Spurrier for a long time. You played for him, Jesse. You could sense the emotional, the tug, his heart really into it right now.
He's been re-energized this year, no question about it. But South Carolina's still proving they're trying to be legitimate in the conference.
They run the option when you were there? Not with Maddox for a short game.
Not with my athleticism.
Wait, was it the option when you were there, Jesse, the option of which one of you guys are going to get yanked?
That's right, absolutely. But going back to Spurrier, it's interesting, you know, when he came to South Carolina, the expectations were to compete for SEC titles. They haven't been able to do that yet. And in order to do that, they need big wins on a consistent basis. They've had some big wins. 2005 to get their first win at Tennessee. They beat Florida for the first time since 1930 that year, but they need to do it consistently.
This would be a landmark win tonight for sure, given their lack of success against the top 10. Garcia on a slant, broken up. Excellent defense. Getting a hand in there was Cassius Vaughn, the senior corner, defending on redshirt freshman Torrey Gurley.
Torrey Gurley has all the talent in the world. He's a freshman. He's 6'5". He's big. He's strong. He can go up and catch the football. But at times he breaks your heart because there's no consistency that we've seen so far this year.
And you know, you see it every once in a while. He'll put his foot in the ground and he'll come inside, and with that big 6'5" body, eventually he's going to realize, I can shield you off, little man. You can't come touch me. It's my ball.
3rd and 10. Rebels rush 5. Garcia gets it away before he's hit. Caught for a first down at the 35, and there is Gurley. The big 6'5" redshirt freshman. Interesting history. He worked at a Home Depot, was at a prep school in New Hampshire, found his way to Columbia.
Well, he found this route on aisle 6 at Home Depot. Watch him put his foot in the ground, and the way he got down there in the protection, delivers the ball with strength.
They throw it downfield on first down, playing quickly, and it's broken up. Jason Barnes was deep, and Vaughn and to defend it. So a little up-tempo for Spurrier.
Well, this is a team in Ole Miss that Steve Spurrier feels pretty familiar with because their defensive coordinator, Tyrone Nix, was the defensive coordinator for Steve Spurrier at South Carolina for 3 years. He knows that Ole Miss tonight is going to try to play some bump and run, and that's going to give these South Carolina receivers a chance to go up on deep balls and make plays.
There's Tyrone. You saw a shot. Very happy to be at Ole Miss. Nearer home. More money. Garcia chased again. He can't escape. That's a good part of his game, getting away from pressure, but had no chance there. Jarrell Poe, number 57, the big 330-pounder, and Kentrell Lockett got there too.
You know, one thing about the up-tempo and looking at this football game is that we've seen South Carolina play a couple of 60-minute games. We haven't seen Ole Miss do that. So if you're South Carolina, it makes sense. You know, let's put the pressure on them, see if they have the conditioning level ready for a game like that.
I think we felt like the pass rush for both teams, a little bit of an edge against the opposing offensive line, and we've seen that so far. Five on the play clock on 3rd and 15. It's a screen. They dump it out short to Gurley. He has some room and he dives near first down yardage at the 25. And they spot it just short, so a decision for Spurrier.
Torrey Gurley is only a freshman, but already he's established himself as the go-to guy for the South Carolina offense in the passing game. Great call by Steve Spurrier Jr. here, anticipating the blitz, throwing that jailbreak screen.
It's 4th down and short. They line up quickly, and Garcia sneaks it for a first down. Didn't let Ole Miss get their personnel in.
You saw the personnel trying to make its way over. You got a flag down now.
Houston not hot on the far sidelines. Ole Miss signaling it's against the Gamecocks.
A lot of sloppy play early in this game so far. These teams need to just settle down and relax.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 8 on the defense. After the play was over, personal foul, number 9 on the offense. Those penalties offset the result of the play is the first down.
So Moshe Green for Ole Miss and the receiver Mo Brown for the Gamecocks got into it, but no matter. Garcia gets the first down.
He threw a punch there. Mo Brown, I mean, he's lucky. Two blows to the head. Mo Brown's lucky he's not thrown out of the football team.
Did you see how mad Steve Spurrier was at Mo Brown on the sidelines, thinking it was against them? The penalty's offset, and Spurrier said, okay, it's okay, it's okay. Go back out.
Those are two seniors, Jesse. Yeah. Chris, you can't have that from a captain, Moshe Green, number 8 for the Ole Miss. These guys have to be smarter than that.
Yeah, Brown wants to be kind of the senior statement, the veteran of the receiving corps. That's not captain's behavior, you're right. On first down, Garcia looked at Maddox, now flips it over the middle to DeMarco, the fullback. And Patrick DeMarco wrestled down by Kendrick Lewis. So lots of short passes early on for South Carolina.
Brilliant formation call by Steve Spurrier or Junior, whoever made the call to get the fullback DeMarco on the inside. But watch how you have him in here, and he'll just kind of sneak in there, Jesse.
Ole Miss right now defensively is challenging South Carolina, playing a lot of man-to-man coverage, trying to send pressure. And as long as they do that, they're going to lose these running backs in the wash on screens. Another nice call by South Carolina offensively.
You see Greg Hardy, number 86. He's on the left of the picture, the defensive end. We'll keep a close eye on him. He's playing through a hurt ankle. Double show pressure. Garcia, pump it. Hit, grabbed and dropped. Lost the football. A scramble for it. Ole Miss has it. Emmanuel Stevens forced it, and Ted Laurent recovered it. The big fella's getting in there on the crucial turnover. And South Carolina's drive is spoiled. If you're a quarterback, fumble recovery is giving Ole Miss the ball back.
Oh, there's no question. The strength of that Ole Miss defense is up front in the defensive line. They're going to rotate guys all night long to bring constant pressure on Steven Garcia.
We got the big fullback, Mark Jean-Louis, the offensive lineman. as a lead blocker, but that play is blown up. We thought we might see the 330-pounder, but Norwood was there.
Well, going back to that turnover from a moment ago, the reason Steven Garcia had to hold on to the football so long was because he was trying to get a double move to his wide receiver, Torrey Gurley. Gurley never sells the slant and go, and Marche Green, the corner, it's easy coverage, and that's what forces the turnover.
How about Mo Brown on the inside? Slot receiver just standing still. Sees his quarterback in trouble. I mean, you know, too tight formation. You're supposed to protect the outside.
Cordera Eason joining Bolden in the backfield on 2nd and 11. Snead pressured again. Fires on the run and shows the arm strength as he delivers a first down strike. Marquise Summers picks up 15.
It's very impressive to watch Jevin Snead and the poise he has in the pocket, his ability to move around. He gets flushed to his left. You're going to see pressure coming from the inside. Doesn't panic, just able to fire a very nice catchable pass to Marquise Summers.
Summers, the junior, just his 2nd catch in the season. And Ole Miss some breathing room now at the 41. Bolden out of the I formation. Turns the corner. A flag, a couple of them fly. As you see, the physical Bolden muscling downfield and into the end zone. It's probably going to come back, but you can see the talent of this running back.
Watching him the last couple weeks, it will take many defenders to bring Brandon Bolden down. He runs very, very strong. All for naught.
He had a touchdown run against Southeast Louisiana. Just stiff-armed a guy.
Holding on the offense. Number 3. That penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Well, South Carolina couldn't bring him down, but Hodge did, right, Chris? You know, that's the one guy you see him down here, bottom of the screen, 3. Once that defender tries to get away from you, and he can't get away from you, and you see the jersey coming away from you, it's holding.
This offense has struggled to get off to fast starts this season. They cannot afford these types of penalties when they have opportunities to score points tonight.
59-yard run, wiped out. And Miss has been slow starting on offense, though, as Jesse detailed. Cordera Eason, and the veteran of this running back stable, muscles ahead for some tough yards. Chris Culliver, August combined.
Ole Miss has a stable of running backs that all basically look the same. They're big physical guys around 6 feet, 225 pounds. Craig, they're going to try to wear this defense out tonight.
And you know what, Jesse, being physical like they are, I think they'll have more success going downhill between the tackles than on the outside. You know what, South Carolina's defense is fast as well.
I'd let Bolden get a breather and put him back in there. You saw how good he can be. They hand it back to Eason. Eason diving for a first down across midfield, just jumped right over Darian Stewart.
That's what competition does for your football team. When you have a number 2 back sitting on the sideline like Eason, and he sees his partner in front of him, Bolden, get off, and you finally get a chance to get in the game, you give great effort. You want to stay out there.
And these guys are unselfish, too. They understand that the fresh legs need to be out on the field to give this team the best chance. We're going to see some Enrique Davis, a sophomore running back, also tonight, work his way in that rotation.
How about that dive, tuck the shoulder? That was strong form. Here's a first down handoff. It's Bolden back in there, and he muscles for about 4. Again, Mark Jean-Louis, the big guard, put as a lead blocker at the fullback position.
If Ole Miss, Jesse, Chris, if they can establish this kind of downhill, ISO in the middle, tough football, South Carolina's defense doesn't have a lot of quality depth on the D-line.
Well, they should be able to, because Ole Miss averages 314 pounds up front. They want to wear down a defensive line that is not very deep.
Here's Dexter McCluster, the first look at the Wild Rebel. McCluster hands it off. Bolden muscles ahead. Tough to bring him down. He has a first down. So the first look at the formation that Danny Nutt first came up with when the Nutt guys were coaching at Arkansas. McCluster not quite Darren McFadden when it comes to running this and just handing off there.
And this Wild Rebel formation is something we're going to keep our eyes on all night. Last year in their 31-24 loss to South Carolina, South Carolina's defense did a better job shutting it down in the second half, using different fronts. We're going to go over that tonight and show everybody back home what we mean.
They'll keep Giannis on the inside handoff for the guy like Bolden. in the ball game in the Wild Rebel. Eason tries the middle. So Tyrone Nix, watching his defense take some body shots in this Ole Miss possession.
You know what? And if he makes them at Ole Miss be methodical and have long drives, he feels like his team has a chance. A guy like Eric Norwood will come up with a play, a good strategy.
Just because Jevin Sneed is playing quarterback at Ole Miss, don't think Ole Miss doesn't want to run the football. Houston Nutt's MO throughout his entire career has been run first, throw second, and you're seeing that here tonight.
There's Mr. Norwood, Fowler.
And Bolden is in the slot. Sneed rolls, fires, a short pass is complete. Herbie Allen paid for it as Chris Culliver was there.
This is the maturity, though, of a Jevin Sneed, a quarterback. You know what? Backside tight end, Jesse, coming across. Sneed's patient, doesn't rush the throw.
He looks a lot more relaxed so far early this game than he has in the previous two. He's just taking what the defense gives him. He's confident and comfortable with the fact they're running the football. He's going to let the game come to him.
Crowd gets involved on 3rd and 1. And a timeout taken by the Gamecocks.
Timeout.
Tempers flaring on the field. Minute 22 in the first quarter, scoreless. We'll take a break. Winning track against Carolina on Monday Night Football. Colt McCoy and the Longhorns pointing toward the Sooners in that showdown in 3 weeks. ESPNDallas.com serving the sports fans of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 3rd and 1 for Texan Jevin Sneed and Ole Miss. Cordero Eason again lined up behind big Jean-Louis.
I think I could still follow a guy like that.
330 pounds.
So you got 6 300-pounders blocking up front. Eason picking his way and gets the first down. That's a lot of beef to run behind.
Let's see what he did. Let's go ahead and give the big fella some love. I mean, if you're going to get back there, what I like, Jesse, was when he cut back to the running lane. A fullback has to be like a ball carrier.
Well, there's a reason he is back there. He has athleticism. You see, he's able to stay on his feet, skip a defender, and then lower the shoulder. Coach Nutt said he loves contact.
Andy Hartman, the regular fullback, has a sprained knee, is going to miss a couple of weeks. That's why they're using this wrinkle. This is Bolden.
Bolden, that pad level that we talk about, you hear people say, watch this runner run behind his pads. Flat back, whatever you want to call it. When you're behind your pads, defenders don't have as much room to hit you in the leg.
And he's got a low center of gravity. He's very thick in the legs, and that's what makes it so difficult to bring him down, tackling him around the waist. It's tough.
He busted out with a big 100-yard game in the Cotton Bowl against Texas Tech. Sneed, straight back, fires for the corner. Jump ball, out of bounds. Shea Hodge was there. Pretty good throw. Just out, and they'll set up 3rd and long.
Which is exactly the down and distance that they were trying to avoid here. The offensive coordinator, Ken Austin, said, we can't be in 3rd and long tonight.
Well, he respects the ability of the South Carolina secondary. Yes, some of the players are very young and inexperienced, but Craig, you mentioned it earlier, they are very gifted, and if the ball's in the air, they can go up and get it.
McCluster in the slot to the right of Sneed. Bolden and Eason in the game. They only rush 4. Over the middle, a dangerous throw, broken up and almost intercepted. Shaq Wilson, the linebacker, dropped into coverage. Not a smart throw.
And it really starts with the protection. Eric Norwood on the last 3rd and long had a sack, right? So now you've got an Ole Miss team that kept a back in the backfield to help on the left side. So you've got one less receiver downfield making up for Eric Norwood.
Joshua Sheen, a reliable kicker inside 40 yards, but beyond 40 in his career, just 6 of 13. He is 2 for 2 this season. This is from 42. Right down the middle. So the Rebels take the fumble by Garcia. Long physical march down the field and get a field goal with 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. 14 plays, 10 runs. Applebee's weekend menu. Cal, Oregon, intriguing game. Can the Bears survive Autzen with the Trojans coming up next week?
Cal, an interesting team. Javid Best already 8 touchdowns on the year. Oregon, though, lost the last 3 games to Cal.
And how about Ja'Cory Harris and that Miami Hurricanes offense that we had last Thursday going and playing at Virginia Tech? I know we all do. We really like Ja'Cory Harris and what Randy Shannon's doing there.
Absolutely, but a big test against Bud Foster's defense. You saw the Iowa-Penn State game. That's the ABC primetime game, and they're expecting rain, sloppy weather in Happy Valley for that one.
It's going to come down to running the football. And while Penn State has only played Akron, Syracuse, they've only been giving up 65 yards a game on the ground so far. They haven't been playing against great competition. You just saw Iowa, Craig. Can those guys run the football?
Iowa can run it. Iowa has a strong, fast, physical team. Their defense at Iowa is good. I was very impressed last week.
Now 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Let's see if Bryce Sherman, who had a nice return on the opening kickoff, called back by a penalty, can light this place up. There is a place in college football at a big-time level for a guy 5'5", 150, as long as you're super quick. This guy raced against Trendon Holiday. He's got sprinter speed. Said he held his own. Didn't beat him, the LSU multi-threat, but Sherm held his own. Ritter to kick it off. We're having trouble getting the ball on the tee tonight.
It's like a 2-mile-per-hour wind. I don't know what's going on out there.
Marcus Temple going to have to come in and hold this. One less player running down the field for coverage right off the bat. South Carolina want to take advantage of this to set up good field position.
They get a new tee. There's no breeze down there.
What's wrong with the old orange tee? We got the goalpost, put it in there.
Old Southwest Conference style.
Absolutely. Put a square toe on that young man.
That's a short kick. Sherman at the 10. Well, he shows his quickness, but he's not going to break many tackles at 150. Corralled at the 22 with 4 seconds to play in the first quarter. The drive to the national championship direct TV bus. Craig, you were in there for a couple of hits on College Football Live. That was our ticket to the game tonight.
Absolutely. We had a nice, enjoyable, comfortable ride over. Now the bus can find us. We're never safe.
Hope the cooler's filled for the ride home.
Yes,
Gatorade. Gatorade.
Not what I had in mind. So this will be the last play of the first quarter. Garcia. Pump fake and dives forward for about 6 yards. So a turnover undoes a Gamecock drive, and Ole Miss leads 3-zip after 1. Set for the second quarter here in Columbia. Ole Miss still has not allowed a point in 3 games so far in first quarters. Carolina hurt by penalties and a fumble by Garcia in the opening quarter. Second and 5. It's Kenny Miles, the tailback, in the slot. Garcia fires complete to Torrey Gurley, and the young guy's been active in the early going. The first down across the 35.
And again, this is a big-bodied receiver. Isn't it right, Jesse? You see somebody out there like that, you just use the body to shield the defender.
He's got all the ability in the world, and he should be a real weapon in this offense. He's showed flashes so far, but he has a chance to become very, very physical.
Talked about his strange journey down here. He was watching Kentucky play the Gamecocks on Thursday night a couple of years ago. Watched the game, got excited. He thought, I'm going to go down there and play football. Made a call. It's working out very well for all parties concerned.
A good call by him.
DeMarco and Miles flanking Garcia as the Rebels show pressure here on 1st and 10. Gamecocks pick it up. A short throw low. Miles comes up with it, but very well defended by Johnny Brown as you check with Aaron Andrews on the field.
Chris, an update from Ole Miss's sideline. DT Shackelford, the freshman linebacker, who defensive coordinator Tyrone Nix says is a guy you want to build your team around. He's struggling with a left ankle injury. They have him taped up. They brought him into the locker room to examine him. He's out here right now trying to stretch it out. He's got a very frustrated look on his face. I don't know when he's coming back in.
That's bad news. You saw the monster game that he had against Southeast Louisiana. Young guy playing his first ever SEC game tonight. Looked to be a pretty serious limp as Miles breaks free into the secondary and dives to the 45. A redshirt freshman. Good looking run.
Jarvis Miles is only 183 pounds, Craig, but he can run with a lot of power as well.
You know what? And watch what here. Here's what I like. He got low right on the initial contact. Watch him get down again. Through the other ones. Miles just kind of gets those pads down. You can't get to his lower body. That's a way to run the football.
Kenny sets him up at the 46. They load up the right side of the formation. And a snap off Garcia's hands and a whistle. There's a lot going on there. Crazy formation, some shifting.
That's that formation. Remember the fullback had the screen earlier in the last drive?
Lucky break for South Carolina, that getting blown dead.
Before the snap, false start. Number 74 on the offense. That penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Still second down.
Heath Bachelor, the guard. But it was a break, you're right.
Well, this is, again, a very talented, very gifted Ole Miss defense. And if South Carolina is going to score points, they cannot go backward. They need to limit the penalties.
So it's 1st and 15. Garcia fires low on the far side. Catch is made for a short gain by Jason Barnes.
You know, in pregame, Jesse, we were down there talking with Houston Nutt about his defense, and we asked him, how good is this defense? And he's, hey, it's better than I think last year. Especially we had Hardy out there.
Well, the defensive line was the strength of the unit last year. Even though Pariah Jerry was drafted in the first round of the Atlanta Falcons, I would argue this unit is still the strength. They had 7 guys back. They're rotating. They are a nasty bunch of guys that can get after it.
Their pass defense was brutal last year.
Yeah.
Brutal. They're much improved, they think, in that department. Among the worst in the SEC in all the key pass defense categories. Garcia finds downfield, and it's caught by Gurley. Oh, what a throw at the 20. Over the head of Marshawn Gray.
Here's a great example of Steven Garcia playing the way Steve Spurrier wants him to play. He's going to play in rhythm, not eyeball his target. He throws it on time and allows his big body receiver to make a play.
And that's how they want Gurley to play. Be where the ball is supposed to be. Know where your body is. Get your body right. Get ready to catch the football.
That was 6'5" over 5'9". From the 20, Garcia. Planned run, but put that one in the back of the playbook as he's hammered for a loss. Sometimes they don't work, right?
That's a Stephen Jr. call there.
There's no denying Steven Garcia has a lot of physical ability. And Coach Spurriers want him to run the football, but very active up front. This Ole Miss D-line, you might want to just trash that.
There's a lot of penetration to be doing that stuff. They lose 3. Kenny Miles is to the left of Garcia. It's Wesley Saunders, the tight end, flexed to the left of the formation. Garcia flushed, has room, has a man deep, drops it off short, and it's broken up. He had a couple of different options on that play, but he tried to get it to Barnes, and Johnny Brown broke it up.
Here's an example where Steven Garcia actually misses 2 different receivers on this play. At the top of your screen, you're going to see Jason Barnes open in the zone. Garcia holds it and gets flushed, and now Mo Brown's running the wheel route. Nice job by his receiver to try to buy time.
Jesse, that's one of those where you're like, okay, now what didn't the quarterback see there? That's an armchair guy. He should have thrown the ball.
You get 2 minuses for that play because you missed 2 different guys.
And he probably could have run for about 7, 8, 9 yards.
3 minuses, Chris.
3rd and 13. Garcia gets away from the corner blitz. Fires short again, incomplete, and a flag is down. Johnny Brown came right through the back of Mo Brown and drew the yellow hanky.
Well, he gets 2 of those demerits back because he made a miss in the pocket. And because he made a miss, he got to the corner and allowed himself a chance to throw the ball down the field, which resulted in a penalty.
But Kentrell Lockett had a beat on him.
Defense, number 20. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. A penalty carries an automatic first down.
We asked Steve Spurrier the first thing he liked about Steven Garcia, and the first thing out of his mouth was escapability. This is what he can do, and you see what he's doing this year? A better job of throwing downfield, keeping his eyes downfield, and he gets blown up.
What's the
Kentrell Lockett?
Did he lead with his helmet?
I couldn't tell on that.
They'll take the completion, though. Maddox in the game. First down from the 13. Maddox has it. Cuts it back. Lowers the head. Now to the 6.
Go back to this now. They've made the officials and college football saying we are really going to protect players. You cannot lead with a helmet.
Certainly looked like he ducked the head and was trying to use the crown of his helmet. The question was, did he hit him in the face mask? Did he hit him in the chest? Give Steven Garcia a lot of credit for getting back up. He's a tough player.
Maddox lined up behind DeMarco. 2nd and 3. Maddox has it. Cuts it back. And now dimes forward near the first down marker, about the 3.
You know, you're sitting here watching an offense methodically go down the field. Don't you see the guys come around in motion, making the defense play sideline to sideline?
We talked about the importance of South Carolina being balanced in this game. So far, 13 runs, 12 passes. They're doing a great job play calling right now.
Spurrier needs about a yard on 3rd down. And a sneak, a flag down. Flag down on the near sideline. Garcia got enough. Houston Nutt says it's on them.
Boy.
Illegal shift. Illegal shift. 2 men moving at the same time without getting set on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
Costly. So costly. Instead of 1st and goal with the 3, now you got to make a tougher 3rd down.
That's the 4th penalty now on offense for South Carolina, and coming, like you said, Chris, at the worst possible time.
We used to always go short yardage goal line on the same snap count. If it was 2, it was 2, but we were consistent. You know, don't get cute, don't get gimmicky because of a situation just like that.
You have everything.
How cute do you get right here, by the way, on 3rd and 6?
Well, you got to throw it. I mean, I'm thinking you're going for points right here. They've done a good job in red zone situations, not turning it over this year.
4 receivers for Garcia. Fires short, drops. Gurley had it right at the marker. Kendrick Lewis was there. Here comes a field goal.
That's the play that drives Spurrier nuts. You know, Gurley has had some catches, and then here's one he's got to make.
He tried to get a timeout before the snap. Saw something he didn't like. He couldn't get it called. So Spencer Lanning trots out, the reliable field goal kicker. Missed his first one this season. He's made 6 in a row. 26 yards to tie the game. So both teams generate a field goal. Both of them feel it should have been more, especially South Carolina. That's a win for Houston Nutt's team, as the penalty once again hurts the Gamecocks. ESPNU's got a triple-header on Saturday. Noon Eastern time, the Bulls minus Matt Grothe visit the Seminoles. Christian Ponder a bit nicked up, a knee problem. The East ACC at 3:30 Eastern time, and then the Georgia Bulldogs host Arizona State. Mystery team. Don't know much about Dennis Erickson's Sun Devils. Lightweight competition so far. They'll have their hands full between the edges there.
Yeah, the U getting after it. coming up Saturday. Joe Cox doing a pretty good job for them Georgia Dogs.
Kickoff coming up, South Carolina. 8-minute drive for a field goal after Ole Miss used 6:18 to get 3 points. Adam Yates to boot it away. He's been having a hard time getting near the end zone, so this should be a return. Engel to Bolden. Bolden muscles out across the 35-yard line. He'll take over at the 33 or so. Let's go back to Reese Davis.
All right, Chris, time for SportsCenter right now. At the Tour Championship, Tiger Woods trails Sean O'Haire by 1 stroke, and he only has himself to blame. Tiger gave O'Haire some putting tips that seemed to help the leader after the first round of the Tour Championship. And Wayne Gretzky done as coach of the Phoenix Coyotes. Dave Tippett, the replacement. Coyotes, all kinds of financial problems. SportsCenter after the game with more on these stories. You can stay current with ESPN News.
Okay, Reese Snead, a play-action fake on first down. Fires near side. It's caught by Lionel Bro, who's forced out near the marker at the 42 by Alonzo Winfield.
We talked to Ellis Johnson, defensive play caller for South Carolina, and he said a key for them was to control the explosive plays from Ole Miss early in this game. He said that in the last 2 weeks, in the first 2 series that have a bunch of 15-plus plays, and really right now, I think they've done a good job, Craig.
But you know what? This is also a game that as we went to this break, you can almost feel an explosive play coming. One of these 2 teams, both defenses better stay alert and on their toes.
This is Rodney Scott. They've got lots of backs here at Ole Miss. He gets his chance, but he's hammered for a loss. Good to have Lottie Ajibo healthy. Scott lost a couple. A little set up third down.
You know, in our meetings with these coaches, Houston Nutt, he's known to be methodical, right? Lull you to sleep. And then, boom, here comes a reverse, some kind of play out of his playbook that the coordinator hadn't seen.
This is an important conversion if Ole Miss's tired defense wants to stay on the sidelines for a while longer. Eason behind the fullback Derek Davis. Snead to throw, high, incomplete. When he misses, it's usually high. He was trying to get it to McCluster. And after getting about 9.5 yards on first down, it's a 3 and out.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, watching the last couple weeks and watching Jevin Snead, the accuracy just hasn't been there either.
He fell back, Jesse. When he threw, he did not deliver forward to his receiver. You know, just not good mechanics.
Well, they're showing like they're going to go for it here. Billy Tapp lined up under the quarterback. Now he's the protector, and they'll punt it. Gamecocks weren't buying that for a second. Tyler Campbell, pretty good kick, fair catch made at the 16-yard line by August. So Gamecock defense does its job. Snead, a frustrating first half so far. Jesse, they can't get that in New York.
Well, no, all I noticed was that you were quick jumping to the line, offer to pay for it.
I got this one, guys.
Yeah, let me take this one.
First and 10. Deion LaCorn went in motion. And Garcia hands it off to DeMarco, the fullback, a short gain. Aaron Andrews has some information from the sidelines.
Well, Stephen Garcia, you guys have mentioned how he's been thrown around left and right out there. Training staff was working on his lower left rib cage. They said he's got a contusion on the left side of that rib cage there. They put some extra padding, had him take some aspirin, had him throw the ball around. He looks to be okay, guys.
He's got to be okay, Aaron. He has to be. Late word that Reed McCollum, their normal backup, may be unavailable tonight. And Zach Brandeis, younger brother of the former Gator quarterback Noah Brandeis, who's never taken a snap, he would be forced in if something happened to Garcia. There's a low throw, incomplete. Try to get it to Saunders.
You know, Wesley Saunders had 8 catches against Georgia in the big offensive night that really they're coming out party. He's a huge asset for this team, but sometimes, Jesse, they say that he doesn't get involved early and his mind wanders.
Well, you got to stay in this game plan if you're going to do well tonight. I'll tell you what, Stephen Garcia hasn't been the most accurate quarterback so far tonight, but these receivers have to start helping him out when he's not throwing the ball right on their numbers.
You see the grimace from Garcia after that throw. He's looking down at his knee. As Aaron said, he's playing through some pain, but he's got to go. Need 9 on 3rd down. Rebels bring some pressure. Garcia, another low throw. Greg Hardy, who's playing on a bad wheel himself, got in there, pressured, and you can see Garcia's in pain.
You know what? He's in pain, and they brought pressure, and if Ole Miss senses it, they're going to bring even more pressure.
Steven Garcia is really just going to have to tough this up. He's getting looks defensively. He's upset with himself right now because he knew he had a big opportunity down the field. Greg Hardy, though, just applying too much pressure.
Garcia's missed his last 4. Marche Green will have a chance. Driven back inside the 35. Green darts up the middle. Marche Green brought down in a saving tackle by the punter, Spencer Lanning. If not for the punter, Green was going to take it back, and the coverage problems continue for the Gamecocks.
It was kick coverage problems against Georgia. It's punt coverage problems here. And, you know, when you've got a ball kick this high and deep, you, quote, out-kick your coverage, and there's Green just burst right by them.
Marche Green muffed 3 punt returns last week against Southeast Louisiana, but you see what he can do if he fields it properly. He's got a lot of natural speed and ability.
Credit Lanning is saving 6 points right there. 36 yards on the return. McCluster reverse darts around the edge for about 7.
As a defense, you cannot take your eyes off of Dexter McCluster. Craig, you talked about it earlier. Houston Nutt will try to lull you to sleep with a lot of pro sets and downhill runs. Don't take your eyes off this guy. He's explosive.
And you know what? He's all over the field. And this is a player that has to get involved. They wanted to have 15 to 20 touches by Dexter McCluster in this football game.
Only got 2 so far.
That's right. So that's only the second time you've said his name.
Yeah, took the 1 snap, and the Wild Rebel as a quarterback handed it off. And then that 7-yard run.
Well, he's good. Woo.
Bolden in the I formation. Snead straight back. Fires for the end zone. Too high again. Way off target.
There just wasn't anywhere to throw the football on this play, and he has his true freshman receiver, Pat Patterson, running down the sideline.
They had to do a steeplechase over the hedge to get him a chance at that.
In double coverage. That's a throw that Jevin Snead just doesn't have to make. He needs to check this football down because Brett Favre can't complete that throw.
But I understand the call, right? Because you've got 2nd and short. You know, you can burn a play. If you get a big one, home run, do it. If not, throw it to the hedges, to Fowler's hedges.
That was way over the edges. 3rd and 2. We'll be back.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Iowa, Penn State, Saturday at 8 Eastern.
You guys realize this is tailgate week? Presented by Kingsford Charcoal.
I'll take a medium rare. Okay, grab a plate.
Then we'll take ours medium rare up here too. Half-Life trivia question. Ole Miss has the 8-game winning streak. Tied for 2nd, longest active in 1A. Which team has the longest streak? That's the official question. The unofficial bonus question. Which team shares the distinction of having the 2nd longest win streak with Ole Miss? Do you know that one?
I do. Am I allowed to say it right now?
Let viewers think about it for a second here.
Okay.
It's not that hard to get the longest winning streak, is it?
No. But I know who's tied for 2nd.
Let me tell you, a team that better do something when they get the ball down here if they want to keep that streak going. Be the Ole Miss Rebels.
That's the Southern Miss Golden Eagles that also has an 8-game winning streak as they go to Kansas. Snead pitches it out. Bolden can't get the corner stacked up. Arian Stewart, the big hitter, was the first to arrive, and then the help came. 1 of 5 on 3rd down.
Absolutely. This is great defensive effort here by South Carolina. This defense is wise. They're smart. They understand the game plan. They're not confusing. Look at the right side of your screen at the pursuit up the field.
One thing this defense is not is deep. They're not overly experienced, but boy, they're fast, and they can find the football.
So Josh Sheen, who was good from 42 earlier, tries from the same distance on the right hash mark. It's a fake. And diving near the marker, but not quite getting it, is Derek Davis. They snapped it to him. Gamecocks weren't fooled. Got close, but didn't get it. Houston Nutt, trickeration.
Give Shane Beamer, the new special teams coach for South Carolina, lots of credit. His team staying alert, Guy's able to make a play barely in front of the line.
The turf monster got him. And that's what Houston Nutt's saying, oh my goodness, we had the play on, we had it blocked, we had the first down.
Now, Gus was right there. He might have grabbed his foot.
Yeah, maybe. Got to pick your feet up going through the tires.
So an empty possession for Snead. 3 of 8. Only 1 completion over 10 yards tonight. Kenny Miles to the left of Garcia. There's a nice completion over the middle and a big hit. About the 34-yard line. Henrik Lewis lighting up Miles, but that gets Garcia back on track. He'd missed 4 in a row.
It's a really nice job play calling by South Carolina because, again, they understand their athletic running backs are going to be matched up against slower linebackers. And like you said, Chris, they're easier throws for a dinged-up quarterback to make.
Nice first down gain, picks up about 8. You know Spurrier wants to go downfield, Jesse. You know his instincts, but he's having to be so patient tonight.
And especially with a dinged-up quarterback. If you can come in with an 8-man defensive front and pick up 9 yards on first down, you keep doing it until they stop you.
Garcia fires far side. Jump ball. Gurley couldn't come up with it.
That's the same play, Jesse, that they called that Ole Miss tried to throw on 2nd and short a while ago, right? Did a home run ball on the outside, 2nd and short.
I understand what South Carolina is trying to do. They're taking advantage again of a taller receiver against a shorter corner, but at some point you got to start coming down with some of these big plays.
Let's check the flag.
The player was not more than 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there is no flag for ineligible downfield.
So it's 3rd and 2.
And you know what? When you look at these numbers here of Snead, 3 of 8. Would we have ever thought Jevin Snead 3 of 8 in a ball game like this late?
Shotgun on 3rd and 2. Miles hammered. Really has to earn that first down. Von Ingram, safety, met him, but he got enough.
South Carolina finished dead last in the SEC the last 2 years in rushing offense. So Steve Spurrier decided to make a change. Craig, he brought in a guy from Illinois, Eric Wolford, as his offensive line coach.
And they've started verbally talking about it, not just physically going out on the field, but talking about being a more aggressive offensive line, nastier.
Eric Wolford has some aggressive language in the practice field, which Steve was trying to get him to clean up a bit. But he's an offensive line coach. You're supposed to be like that, right? Garcia pressure gets it away far side. Catch made, but circling back and taking big hits is Mo Brown. Garcia took a beating. Brown took a beating. They pick up 8.
But to see Garcia throw the ball that far, falling back, he's obviously strong enough right now with his body.
Doing just whatever he can to get rid of this football with Lamarck Armour just bearing down on him. That's an impressive throw to me.
Both offenses having to earn every yard tonight the hard way. Miles tries the middle and picks his way for a first down. Kenny Miles become the featured back, not Jarvis Giles, the true freshman, or Brian Maddox.
Kenny Miles got off to a great start of the game last week against FAU. He had 5 carries, 56 yards before having to leave with a dinged-up shoulder. They got a lot of depth in this running back group.
On first down. Garcia takes his shot downfield. Looks for Alshon Jeffrey. The talented true freshman was interfered with. Had to take a downfield shot sooner or later. You knew it.
Well, South Carolina is really picking on 5'9" Marche Green right now. That's about the third ball downfield they've tried to throw on him with these bigger receivers.
Well, with Alshon being 6'3", you just got to figure that it's going to be your way one way or the other.
Alshon's the guy that verbally committed to USC, was convinced to come to this USC. And Spurrier is glad to have him. True freshman, big-time recruit.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Holding on the defense. Number 24. That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Number 8 on the defense. That penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot.
They flag both corners on one play.
Absolutely, no, and that's the result of play action pass and the result of a good solid running game on first down, the previous 2 first down calls.
Chris, you had mentioned earlier true freshman Alshon Jeffrey having committed to go play for the Trojans. Steve Spurrier is quick to point out to his receiver this week, hey, you saw the Trojans just scored 10 points on the Huskies, right? I think you made the right decision coming here.
2:36 to half. Gamecocks on the march in a 3-3 game.
Hi, I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on the IBM halftime report, Miami Hurricanes will be without a couple of starters when they take on Virginia Tech Saturday. And the Hokies might get some insight to their defensive problems from Mark May in the IBM Insight Center. And Dr. Lou, his office is open, and Ray Lewis stops by for a visit. It's all coming up at halftime. Chris?
Okay, Reese, 2:36 to go before then. Gamecocks have a first down. Ole Miss 27. Pass interference penalties have been crippling for Ole Miss so far tonight. Helped set up a field goal in the Gamecocks' previous scoring drive. And they set him up here at the 27. Toss to Miles. Gets it back. Dives for 5.
It's a different attitude, don't you think, Craig? When you watch South Carolina play offense this year, the commitment to run the football and run it downhill and try to establish that.
And the fact that Garcia at the line of scrimmage right there checked to that play. It was a run or pass checked with me. First game we saw him against NC State, he wasn't doing that.
Garcia takes a shot at the end zone, goes for Gurley, and it's off his hands. They went after Green again, and Gurley went up, had a play on the ball.
That's just, you know, it really is going to take time for Gurley to understand how to get his body right to fight for a ball.
Well, Randy Moss and the best in the world at doing this just have a knack for being able to go up and high point the football and give Marche Green. He's battling. He's doing the best he can, and at 5'9", actually gets that right hand to swat that football away.
Very nice play.
Green limps off. Third and 5. Garcia chase, flips it in the flat to DeMarco, and the fullback has some room, barreling for a first and goal. He was wide open.
He was wide open. This was an excellent call by Spurrier. Watch the fullback in the middle. Stutters, gets by the defensive end who can't nick him. Linebacker on the inside got crossed up, didn't he?
He got picked, and this is another good call. Expecting man coverage, getting these backs to leak out of the backfield, moving the pocket so Ole Miss cannot just tee off on you.
And you saw Greg Hardy playing on a bad wheel. Couldn't quite get there quick enough. Definitely not 100% tonight. On first and goal, Miles hit in the backfield. Good penetration. Lamar Brumfield is a backup linebacker.
Now, Chris, you had mentioned earlier how the secondary for this Ole Miss defense was the weak link last year. Last in the SEC in pass defense. They have not allowed a passing touchdown yet this year. They've really grown up. They've made big plays. They're going to have to get a good stand here again, Craig.
I'll tell you the guys I like. You know, the secondary's good, but that defensive line, I'm telling you, Ole Miss is nasty. Chris, you said it a while ago. They're big and powerful up front.
War Daddy's up there. You saw the Green still out of the ball game as Garcia drops back, fires across the middle. It was high. Brown was interfered with again. A slant pattern, and they grabbed him on the way by.
I'm not sure if that throw was catchable, guys. That ball came out high and hot. I don't know, had Mo Brown even not been interfered with, if he could have brought this down.
Pass interference. Number 7 on the defense. The The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line and an automatic first down.
And we're sitting here, and you know, you and I are both leaning back, and Garcia throwing off that back foot, falling away from the receiver.
He's been so used tonight to having pressure in his face. As a quarterback, sometimes you just get used to leaning back, but when the pressure's not there, you have to step into the throw.
Twin tight ends on first and goal. Miles again hammered, and another flag is down. Jeremy McGee, the backup corner with Green out, made the tackle. Both sides just really hurt themselves with flags tonight. This one's going to set the Gamecocks back. Again, they get down inside the 5 and a penalty. Second time.
Holding on the offense, number 57. That penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Hey, you know what? What you call them, war daddies on the inside?
Oh, yeah.
Big Poe, 57, 6'2", 330 pounds, down from 380. He's mugging the inside of that O-line.
He's kind of a poor man's Terrence Cody. No longer as big as Matt Cody is over at Alabama, but he is a run stopper who can also get in the backfield and create a sack. So first and goal. Ball now back at the 12. Garcia looked flat, fires back over the middle. Gurley is the man. And a flag down again. So hold on. Ole Miss signals. This one's coming back.
Wow.
Delayed screen to Torrey Gurley. The freshman made a nice catch and darted in the end zone. Looks like it won't count.
Have an ineligible downfield. Number 72 on the offense. That penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay second down.
So each team's had a touchdown nullified. They got Quentin Richardson, the right tackle.
The right tackle, Quentin Richardson, was further than 3 yards downfield, which is why that got called. How about this, guys? Torrey Gurley has now had 4 touchdowns called back this season.
Right side. Poe, big 57, again wreaking havoc. I don't see it.
They got the wrong guy. They for sure got the wrong guy. He was not downfield.
No question. The play happened so quickly. That's surprising that anybody could be downfield, but it wasn't 72.
Definitely not. He was in the backfield.
Torrey Gurley cannot believe his luck. That's the 4th time this year he's had a touchdown called back because of a penalty.
We're going to have to get some clarification. It definitely wasn't the right tackle for the Gamecocks. 25 seconds before halftime. In spite of the guilty party and illegally man downfield here.
Yeah,
55.
That'd be a freshman too. TJ Johnson, a little antsy. Got to really hold your water and sit in there for a moment.
Well, you got to set first before running, and right there, TJ Johnson trying to beat Usain Bolt on the 100-meter dash. You just got to set in and give the screen a chance to develop.
A Bolt reference, huh?
All right.
They're bolting backwards in the wrong direction, by the way. This is first and goal at the 2. A couple penalties now. A touchdown call back, and the Gamecocks are at the 17. 1 timeout left. 25 seconds in the first half. Garcia drops back, gets flushed, buying time, fires across the middle, it's dropped. Oh, Brian Maddox out of the backfield was wide open at the 5.
Boy, they're just sometimes as a receiver, you know you've got a big play and your head turns up the field and you don't catch the ball before you run.
Well, Stephen Garcia again had a guy in the corner. He decides to get flushed, and he really does such a nice job selling this. Made it look like he was going to run downfield before turning his shoulders. A big play opportunity missed, and Stephen Garcia knows it.
Chris, how many times have you said Dexter McCluster's name?
It's a couple times.
The longer he stays on the sideline, the less chance Ole Miss has a chance of scoring. So the drives are working in some sense.
Second and goal. 17 seconds left. Garcia flips it short again. Maddox tries to redeem himself. Lowers his head inside the 5. Cassie Vaughn met him. Clock running. Didn't get the first down, so Spurrier will have to spend his final timeout, but some clock ran off there.
It's bad clock management. They need to burn that with 8 seconds to go to give themselves an opportunity to take one more shot before kicking the field goal. They might not have a chance now. Their only choice may be to kick a field goal.
You don't dare gamble, do you, with 4 seconds?
No. Take the lead, go into the tunnel.
Absolutely.
Here's our Affleck trivia question answer. Ole Miss, 8-game winning streak, as do the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi, but of course the Mighty Gators have not lost since Houston Nutt's team went to the Swamp and beat them last year.
Does Florida have to show up this year? Everybody is assuming that they're going to win every game. It's just it's a layup.
Who's assuming that?
I don't know. All the pundits.
Nothing is a foregone conclusion in the SEC.
That's what Urban Meyer's telling them.
Houston Nutt beaten the eventual national champion each of the last 2 seasons. Beat LSU a couple of years ago. Gators last year. Don't know that any coach has ever done that.
How about Jevin Sneed? Who'd have ever thought that his numbers would be where they are?
Well, you made the mention earlier, Craig. Dexter McCluster, we called his name twice tonight. Who would have thought Jevin Sneed would only have 8 attempts going into halftime?
We have 23 plays, Ole Miss.
South Carolina's offense has done a nice job staying on the field.
Yeah, no gamble here from Spurrier. Spencer Lanning on to attempt a chip shot. Two long drives for South Carolina produced a couple of field goals. Sloppy first half for both sides. A frustrating start for Jevin Sneed. Steven Garcia playing hurt, but his team trots off with a 6-3 lead as we go to the field and Aaron Andrews. Aaron trying to get over near Houston Nutt. And she's got him now. Aaron?
Coach, slow start for Jevin Sneed. What's giving him the most trouble?
Well, we got to do a better job protecting, and we're going to hit some throws in the second half.
1 for 5 on 3rd downs. What's been the problem?
That's the problem, right? We've had a couple missed blocks. We got to make those first downs on 3rd down.
Houston, thanks. Chris?
Well, they've been a slow starting team so far this season. Houston Nutt hoping his team will regroup after halftime as they have before, but a tougher assignment tonight. Let's go to Reese, Lou, and Mark. IBM halftime report. Primetime presented by Applebee's. Wasn't pretty in the first half, folks. More penalties, 11 of them, than points. Big statistical edge for South Carolina. Ole Miss, the number 4th ranked team in the country, trying to back up that ranking, show how good they are. 4 first downs, all of them on their 1 field goal drive and 71 total yards.
Well, they need to throw the clips away in the locker room at Ole Miss. They need to come out and say, hey, look, this is 2009. It's not 2008. We need to get it going this season. We said that coming in, Jesse. You know, we didn't really know what to expect from an Ole Miss football team. Are they the number 4 team in the country?
They don't look like it right now. Quarterback Jevin Sneed needs to settle down. He's made poor decisions. He's had bad mechanics. He's looked hurried. He's shown in the first 2 games he can play better in the second half, but he needs to play within himself now.
Yeah, forget the number 4 ranking. It's the number 4 player in Ole Miss. The quarterback needs to get going. This is Brandon Bolden. Picked it up at the 1 and got thumped. Home Depot halftime adjustments, fellas.
Well, it was hard to find the video to support our comment because there wasn't much from them. But Jevin Sneed's got to get on track, and so does little number 22.
They got to find ways to get Dexter McCluster and their impact players involved in this football game. There was no question coming in. The playmakers on offense are Dexter McCluster and their other wide receiver, Shea Hodge. Jevin Sneed needs to calm down and get these guys the football.
Only 1 play for the Rebels longer than 10 yards in that first half. They don't have a run longer than 10. Sneed, a first down throw, fires a nice little slant. And a 9-yard gain. And they'll spot him actually across the first down marker at the 29.
This offense has to pick up, Craig, and it's amazing. You look at the statistics. 4 first downs, 71 total yards in that first half. That sounds like 1 drive.
And you know what? Maybe Houston Nutt needs to pick the tempo up in the huddle, get to the line of scrimmage, change up the rhythm and the routine, because his offense really hadn't been on the field. There's no rhythm from them.
Sneed, you recall, brought a streak of 8 straight games with multiple touchdown passes. And Dexter McCluster in the Wild Rebel for the 2nd time tonight. He keeps it right side. Bolden gets a block, but they string it out well. McCluster shows the quicks and cuts it back. They had him hemmed in, and he found a way to get 8 yards.
That is why they wanted, as a coaching staff, to get the ball in his hands 15 to 20 times in a game. Sometimes you bottle him up, but you just don't have the athleticism to make the play.
Well, sometimes coverages will dictate where he'll throw the football to, and Dexter McCluster may not be open on every single pass route, but this is a way you guarantee him a touch. Put him in the wild rebel.
It was a nice-looking cut, wasn't it? Ran right past Chris Culliver. It's Cordera Eason diving across the 40 for a first down. So a little bit different tempo, a little crisper look from Ole Miss to start the half.
And this is a football team that, as we've talked about this season, they've not been challenged. You know, we haven't seen them have to play 60 minutes.
Well, the big question was coming in, playing their first real challenge on the road in a hostile environment. They look like their eyes are wide open right now. They look like they have not played a team of this caliber yet.
There's the guy that can counter it all, Eric Norwood, Mr. Sackmaster.
Drops off in coverage. Snee looks downfield. Fires to Summers over his head. They had to rally, though, for 28 points in the second half against Memphis. That was a deceptive score. If you didn't realize that Ole Miss struggled in the Liberty Bowl right until the fourth quarter.
Sloppy game.
And here's the flip side of that. South Carolina defensively so far this year has played much better in the second half than they have in the first half. Against Georgia, they gave up 31 points in that first half, only give up 10 in the second. Last week against FAU, 16 in the first half, shut them out in the second. So Ole Miss gets better on offense late, so does South Carolina defensively.
2nd and 10, draw play. Eason drop for about a yard loss. With Matthews a big night.
I really like the way Ellis Johnson, the defensive coordinator that time, came with a little crossing stunt on the middle of the field. You've got to change the pace and the rhythm. Look in the middle of the field, defensive line, and you'll see the crossing stunt that they do. It just slows down the aggressiveness. Defensive end comes inside. No push.
Bradley Sowell, that freshman left tackle, again filling in for Michael Orr. Big shoes to fill. Struggling, as you see. Travian Robertson, the junior tackle, being looked at. So it'll be 3rd and 12 for Ole Miss, opening possession of the second half when we come back. The SEC on ESPN, as you see Travian Robinson being looked at by the training staff on the sidelines. Minus him, the Gamecock defense looking for a big stop on 3rd and 12 and inviting the crowd to get involved here. 74,000 trying to make it tough on Jevin Sneed.
Can they expect 3 to rush, 8 in coverage? They're going to try to keep it in front of them.
Sneed in traffic and drops. Eric Norwood was there. Good coverage downfield. And the all-time sack leader at South Carolina picks up his 2nd tonight.
I'd argue on this play, really only 2 guys come off the line of scrimmage. You see those other defensive tackles just kind of watching and spying Jevin Sneed, make sure if he does step up in the pocket to make a run downhill.
How about Ellis Johnson, though? Dialing up 2 different kind of looks up front there against the run on 2nd down and only 2 on 3rd.
If there's a big game and TV cameras around, number 40 is going to step up and make something happen. He does it every time. Tyler Campbell. Young true freshman gets it away, and a fair catch made by August. And the Gamecocks do their job to start the second half, go back on offense up 6-3. Celebrating its 5th year of sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, All-State making contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, All-State has contributed more than $1.8 million in scholarship money. 2 field goals for Lanning, 1 for Sheen tonight. That's all the scoring.
Well, I guarantee at halftime, Steve Spurrier had a message for his South Carolina offense. Stop the penalties. Stop hurting yourselves. We're moving the ball fine. We got a great mixture of run and pass. Stop the penalties.
Garcia fires on 1st down, and Mo Brown has it. Brown escapes. And a foot race. Mo Brown inside the 10. finally a big play as the senior broke a couple of tackles en route to 69 yards.
It starts with formation. We see the bunch again on the left side. They focus on Saunders in the underneath pattern, the tight end. Mo Brown makes a big play down the field. Cassius Bond, defensive back, not able to make the play.
Mo Brown, a senior that's taking over for Kenny McKinley. He's playing that position, looking a lot like Kenny McKinley on that play right there.
Now can they cash in? They've been close before and had to settle for field goals. First and goal, just inside the 10. Garcia with an option look. Little stutter step. The pitch is bobbled by Miles, who collects it and picks up a yard. This is not really an option team. And if you don't practice it a lot, it's tough to execute, isn't it?
Steven Garcia still needs to do a better job attacking that defensive end and forcing him to commit. Craig, I thought on that play he pitched that way too early, and that gave that Ole Miss defense a chance to go
crazy, Craig.
It looked like he came out getting ready to be hitting the mustache at the guard level. He needed to keep going to the tackle box.
Again, it's not really a big part of their offense.
Whoa, what's up? Well, we've seen 3 crazy second down calls tonight when teams get down and having success.
DeMarco, the fullback, lined up behind Garcia on second and goal. Garcia pressured, flushed, and dropped. Kentrell Lockett got him. Those War Daddies up front.
Kentrell Lockett, a guy Tyrone Nix really likes, said he's pure speed coming on the outside.
6 guys this time. Ole Miss, they come, they put a little pressure. Tyrone Nix saying, I'm not sitting back. I'm coming too.
There's a mismatch against the fullback too. Lockett just overpowering DeMarco. So third and goal, and they're back at the 13. What do you got for me, Coach Palmer, on this one?
Well, you're throwing to the end zone again. Steve Spurrier, I guarantee, is not settling for field goals in this football game. I'm thinking Tory Gurley or their big tight end Wesley Saunders, somewhere maybe over in a jump ball situation over the middle of the field.
I got one for you, Coach Fowler. Top of the field, right slot. Mo Brown, 9, maybe a little inside screen.
Garcia fakes it, dumps it over the middle, almost intercepted. He threw it in traffic. Dangerous throw. And it'll be a field goal attempt coming up as Greg Hardy, defensive end, had dropped in coverage and almost came up with it.
Smart. Thinking screen as well. Hardy, a guy that's been around, reads the lack of push with the offensive line.
And it's disheartening for South Carolina offensively. 3 red zone trips, 3 field goals.
Not just 3 red zone, 3 first and goals and 3 field goals. He's from 30 yards for Lanning. Perfect tonight. He's 3 for 3, but again, statistical domination by the Gamecocks, yet they can't pull away.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Kingsford Charcoal, proud sponsor of ESPN Tailgate Week, and Cadillac.
And it's been the meat and potatoes offense of South Carolina getting it done. Big edge, 246 to 90 in total yards, but still just a 9-3 lead. And South Carolina will kick it off now. Go back to work on defense. Bolden and Eason are deep. And this is Brandon Bolden. Couldn't run out of a tackle. Dropped at the 28. Talked about the Hokies and the Hurricanes. 3:30 Eastern time. Kingsford Charcoal presenting Tailgate Week. ABC has that one. Cal against Oregon or Illinois, Ohio State also on the card here. Corey Harris will try to take his high-flying act to Blacksburg.
He's been lights out in 2 games so far. 2nd in the nation right now in passer efficiency. He looked so comfortable in that offense. That's a big-time test for Virginia Tech defensively.
On 1st and 10, they fake it to Bolden. Snead steps up, has time, and now will be dropped for about a 1.5 yard gain. Clifton Geathers closed ground in a hurry.
Just doesn't look comfortable.
No, I was just going to say that.
Does he?
No, not at all.
No, and no rhythm. Not the same guy that we talked about. There was so much expectation on this football team coming in based on preseason expectations of Jevin Snead.
And how would they handle that tonight, coming in here as the hunted team? You can say that just another game. Players aren't concerned with rankings and height, but they are in 2009, I promise you. On second down, Snead fires along the sidelines, incomplete. It was low. Marquis Summers couldn't come up with it.
I'll tell you something to watch for as we move along here in the second half. A big injury to Traven Robertson, the starting defensive tackle for South Carolina. He's out of the game now. They are very, very thin right now at D tackle.
Dexter McCluster here on this last play. You know, get the guy the ball in open space. Let him have it. See your guy. Know your playmaker. Know the best guy on your offense. Get him the football.
They've been so poor on third down tonight. Just 1 for 6. McCluster was in the slot. Snead harassed and dropped. Matthews got there in a hurry. The ball came loose. South Carolina's got it. They caused a fumble in last year's meeting, and they thought they could do it again.
Again, fellas, on third down and long, a different look coming from Ellis Johnson. 2 guys are going to rush on the outside, and watch 3 stay in the middle. 9 guys in coverage.
Well, schematically, Ole Miss does not want to block Cliff Matthews with the running back, and you're going to see him right here run right around Brandon Bolden. And he's able not only to get the sack, but to strip the football out of Jevin Snead's hand for a huge play, giving the offense the football back now in Ole Miss territory.
Shaq Wilson got there, the hammer Snead. And now the Rebels defense already down 6. Pretty much needs to keep Carolina out of the end zone, the way their offense is playing.
The previous play is under further review.
So I'm going to check and see if it was in fact a fumble. So while they check the video, we'll take a quick break and come back. Huge review here. Looks like a fumble.
Saturday.
Well, they reviewed it, but it was pretty clear. Snead did fumble the ball in the sack by Matthews, and the Gamecocks will take over here at the 25.
You know what I don't like about that review is it has to be not. This wasn't even questionable. And so what you do is you water down a big momentum swing for your football team if you're South Carolina.
Well,
you give everybody else a chance to settle down.
You let that defense from Ole Miss get collected and get a red zone plan here and get a breather.
Empty backfield. They bunch the receivers to the right on first down. Garcia looking to the left. The fade. Gurley. Broken up. He wants a flag. This time he won't get one. Cassius Vaughn defended. He always wants a flag.
He always
right
wants a flag. Every time, every game I've watched, if Torrey Gurley doesn't catch it, he thinks there's a flag. They will throw this maybe 80 times this year, and at some point, Torrey Gurley is going to have to come down with it.
Did you see Gurley pushing off with his right hand? He had a touchdown call back earlier this season against NC State because he pushed off the defender. That ball's got to be thrown deeper, Jesse. You know that. He's got to throw that ball to the back of the end zone.
At the same time, it doesn't look like he's very good yet at adjusting, finding the football, and positioning himself to make the catch.
Going to the right of the formation. Garcia back on second down. Fires across the middle. A low throw, no catch. Deion LaCorn went down. Couldn't come up with it. Third and 10.
You remember that touchdown Gurley had called back? NC State, we were doing it, right?
The NC State game?
Yeah.
I was watching on the couch.
Were you?
Kind of watching. I think I nodded off.
Oh, that's right. You were doing the U.S. Open.
Yes,
I was really not jacking with you. But that game, Jesse, you had me thinking, was I there?
Third and 10. Garcia. Pressure. They pick it up. Fires across the middle. It's complete. Jason Barnes has a first down. So here we go again. The Gamecocks marching inside the 10. Can they finally cash it in for 6?
A really nice job by Steven Garcia. He misses a throw in the previous play, steps up, keeps his eyes downfield, and finds his target for a big first down.
This time in the red zone. They spread the field on first down. 4 receivers. Garcia buying time. He'll run it. Cuts back to the 2.
Steven Garcia putting this thing on his shoulders a little bit. He realizes they need a touchdown this possession in the red zone.
You remember now in the second quarter, Garcia had a nicked up body and it was really hurting him. Nice move on the corner. And Garcia looks like the guy that was a Heisman Trophy candidate as opposed to Jevin Sneed in this football game.
Miles behind DeMarco on first and goal. Nothing for Miles. Patrick Trahan, the linebacker, with help.
Steve Spurrier told his offensive line heading into this year, they had to get more nasty. They had to be more physical at the point of attack. Well, here's an opportunity for this offensive line to prove to their head coach that that's the direction they're heading in.
Well, they're going to have to deal with those guys on the defensive line over there because Ole Miss, in this particular area of the field, they will push you. They'll beat you up. South Carolina's offensive line is not going to score with their men. They won't push them back.
Well, they run it on third and goal at the 2. Play action. Garcia in the flat to DeMarco. Touchdown. No flags this time. Our first touchdown. As the Gamecocks cash in the Sneed fumble. Good drive by the quarterback, huh? And the mountain gets a little bit taller for the number 4 team in the country on the road. Lanning makes it 16-3. So Jevin Sneed, after a very frustrating evening, still has plenty of time. But the hole just got deeper after the first touchdown tonight. Williams Bryce is rocking now. Gamecocks have put 10 points up in 3:04. 16-3. Coach Nutt's team in a little bit of trouble in Columbia right now. Talked about how this would be a landmark. Only top 5 win for the Gamecocks in their entire history. Back in '81. It's the number 3 ranked North Carolina team. They've never won at home. And all the people who were skeptical about Houston Nutt's Rebels coming in, it's being validated right now. There's still time, but they have not looked like the number 4 team in the country. Bolden and Eason trying to make a big play, but it's a low boot to an up man. And the Rebels will actually get their best field position of the night up near the 40-yard line. Reese Davis, what do you have for us?
Chris, I have the ESPN AT&T All-America Player of the Week. We do it every week, and this time it's Landry Jones stepping in for Sam Bradford, and he had a brilliant day against Tulsa. School record 6 touchdown passes in the Sooners' victory. You can vote every week. Text vote to 345-345 on any wireless phone and cast your vote. Enter for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game. And Pony, when you hit Landry Jones in the mustache, you hit a mustache.
They didn't do much hitting against him last week, did they? Will it be Landry Jones or Sam Bradford when the Sooners go to Miami?
You know, I keep telling people Landry Jones went to Oklahoma with the expectations that he would one day be a great quarterback. He's not a mullet, you know. He's just not a good-looking guy on campus. He can play.
I spoke to Josh Heupel, the quarterback coach at Oklahoma, and he said he can run every single pass play in that offense like Sam Bradford. He's got all the tools physically, and you saw it in that Tulsa game.
Wild Rebel. McCluster fakes it, runs right. Dexter spins away, but cannot get away. Aaron, what's the vibe in that Ole Miss sideline?
Chris, I heard you wanted me to come over here and check that out. Let me tell you, when Jevin Sneed fumbled the ball in the last series, he came off the field, kind of looked at Houston Nutt, shrugged his shoulders. You see him firing up his team there. I want to tell you about what happened before that. He came over, sat on the bench, slammed his helmet down, had a few words for Dexter McCluster, and just tried to gather his thoughts. He said a quick prayer after Steven Garcia threw that for that touchdown, guys. And as you saw in that video, trying to fire up his offensive line and just about anyone that could hear him.
Thanks, Aaron. This is Eason running left. Cordero Eason spinning, runs into a blocker. And stopped after about 3 yards. I don't know if he needs adrenaline. He needs a good decision making.
Well, that's one thing his wide receiver, Shea Hodge, said about him. He said he's not the type of quarterback that comes to the sidelines when things aren't going well and pouts. He's a guy that will come to the sidelines, get guys fired up, go talk to guys, find out why things aren't working, get them fixed, and go play. Jevan Snead not having a great day today statistically, but he's going to fight the entire course of this game.
Only once have the Rebels converted on 3rd down. 1 of 7. They need 5. Eason is the tailback. Snead takes a shot downfield. Lofts it up, broken up. Chris Culliver was there. Lionel Bro was the receiver, but there were 2 Gamecocks in the neighborhood, and now it's 4th and 5.
You know, it's one thing for a quarterback to be emotionally charged up and everything else, but you got to put the ball in the right receiver's hands. Again, South Carolina's defense decides to rush 3. They drop 1 out of there. They're dropping 8 into coverage. So you got a lot of bodies back there covering receivers.
They're going to go for it now.
I don't blame them here either. I agree. Yeah. You know what? Hey, you're giving up a little bit maybe if you don't make it. But at this point in the game, you do not want to give the ball back to South Carolina.
Play clock down to 5. They just get it off. Or did they? Yeah, timeout called by Ole Miss from the sidelines there just before the snap. Nutt may have been worried the play wasn't going to get off in time. So we'll talk about it. NASCAR on Sunday. The overall points leader Mark Martin racing for his 6th victory of the season. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin hot on his heels. NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Dover, Delaware. 1 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Telecast presented by Burger King. For more, log on to ESPN.com. The veteran, Mark Martin. Jimmy Johnson going for his 4th straight Cup title, 35 points back. Juan Pablo Montoya, former IndyCar driver, he's in the mix there too.
Yeah.
What do you got here on 4th and 5?
You know what? Dexter McCluster. You know what? Whenever a while ago, McCluster, remember we saw him on the last time that he was frustrated, the little hitch route that he ran underneath? You remember that? And he's standing there. This is a play. This is a great example. The best player on the field for him is McCluster, and get him the football out there.
Well, Ken Austin told us about his CFL background before coming here, and one of the things they do in Ole Miss offensively, a lot of route adjustments on the fly. Get Dexter McCluster over the middle of the field, allow him to run an option route, find space. You need about 5 yards. They can go get that right now.
And expect that South Carolina's going to drop 8 in coverage.
Absolutely.
They've been doing that on 3rd and long, and they'll do it again.
Just don't put 2 men in motion. You can do that in the CFL.
That's right.
Not here.
It helped to have a 12th guy in the field, too.
There he is.
They flip it to him in the flat, over his head, and they were ready anyway. Chris Culliver delivered a lick after the incompletion, and the Gamecocks will take over. Snead 1 for his last 7. Even that routine throw was too high.
All right, but you know what? This is called lack of execution. Somebody outside has got to block the men that are out there covering the slots. Wide receivers pass up, and there's no way you can execute like that.
Give Ellis Johnson's defense a lot of credit. Even had that ball been completed, free safety Chris Culliver was in place to make that play.
Culliver took a big hit, too, from his coach there after the hit.
That guy was supposed to have been blocked. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
You can't let that defender that close to the receiver go unblocked.
I hope so.
So, see if Spurrier tries to bleed the clock here. It's Miles. Can't get away. Certainly a different looking Steve Spurrier offense. They had the one big 69-yard play to Mo Brown. It's been mostly the running game and dink and dunk passes.
This is the beauty of having your team battle tested before you get into the conference play. You know what? South Carolina's been there, done that with Georgia and NC State, 2 pretty good opponents. Ole Miss has it.
Ole Miss looks like shock and awe a little bit right now. They don't look like they were ready for this type of physicality.
Another short run. Well, stop. It'll set up 3rd and long.
What a win for the program this would be for South Carolina. You know, you talked about it. 1-31 all time against teams ranked in the top 5. As a program, if you're going to contend for SEC championships, you need to get these wins. That win they let slip away from them 2 weeks ago at Georgia, those are games that these guys need to win if they're going to be taken seriously in this conference.
On 3rd and 8 now, Maddox motioning back into the backfield. Picks up the blitz. Garcia fires far side over the head of Saunders. Garcia felt pressure late, got knocked to the ground after the throw. Jonathan Cornell and Mike Backer came on the blitz.
And you know what? Cheers to the Ole Miss defense for stepping up, bailing out their offense once again.
That was almost a must stop for him, wasn't it?
Had to happen. Had to happen. You go for it on 4th down. Your defense has to know and understand the rhythm of a football game. Your offense is struggling. Defense has to step up.
So Marche Green had a big return earlier tonight. One of the few highlights for the Rebels. Back deep. Landing off the side of his foot. Bounces near that man. Oh, Green thought about gambling. Wisely stepped away, and Ole Miss will take over at the 25-yard line. You guys ready for our intelligent move brought to you by Mercedes?
Well, I'm not sure I'm up to that task, but I'll give it a shot. What do you say here? How about Garcia and his legs with a run that set up the touchdown? A very nice job. The move on the outside, I'd call that an intelligent move.
Well, in the past, Stephen Garcia has been the type of guy that has scrambled to run, and on that play was looking to throw the football, but did the smart thing. Instead of forcing the football, gave his team a chance to go score a touchdown.
And a whistle before the snap as Jevin Sneed tries to reverse what would be the most miserable night of his college career. The guy, of course, that verbal to Florida. Tim Tebow was signed. He decided he'll go to Texas. Played behind Colt McCoy. Got his shot when McCoy was injured, but couldn't beat out Colt. Transferred to Ole Miss.
Before the snap, false start. Number 71 on the offense. That penalty was 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
Ed Orgeron convincing Sneed to come here, and you know this is his junior year, but many people coming into this season, guys, thought he's right there with Sam Bradford as the top quarterback prospect. I don't know what's happening to his stock tonight, but it's not going up.
It's not going up. You can't argue with his physical tools, but it has to show up on game day.
And 1st and 15, rolls right, fires downfield, almost picked off. And then off the hands of the receiver. August was in the neighborhood, knocked to the ground with Shea Hodge.
Well,
but no flag.
That's not on Jevin Sneed. This play, Shea Hodge falls down to the ground. That's why this ball wasn't completed. I thought Jevin Sneed did a nice job getting outside the pocket, threw on rhythm. The throw, though, Craig, a little bit too far inside.
Absolutely. Too far inside. But, you know, here's a route. You had 2 receivers that were down the field. That was it. There were 2 players down the field. Most of my thought into this game, I was going to see 3 and 4 receivers. Jevin Sneed throwing the ball around the field, playing pitch and catch.
But Ole Miss has had issues protecting Jevin Sneed, and because of that, they're forced to go to 8 and 9.
Gotta hurry here. Play clock at 1. Do they get it off? No. Across the board, it has been a rough night for this Ole Miss offense.
Before the snap, false start. Number 71 on the offense. That penalty was 5 yards from the previous spot. 2nd down.
And it's Reed Neely as they barely got it off before the clock expired. I'm not sure they did, but they'll call it a false start penalty.
Well, this Ole Miss team was averaging 3 penalties a game in their first 2 games. Here they are. They already have 7.
And they're going the wrong way in this possession. 2nd and 20 now. Sneed airs it out downfield. There's a good throw, but out of bounds.
Sneed at least stepped up. He kind of looked like a quarterback here in the pocket. Good delivery down the field to the outside. And to me, ooh, no.
Lionel Bro
not quite that
tried
left
to
foot.
tap that left toe inbounds.
Jesse, Does it seem like that sometimes a quarterback on the throw like that, if you've been in a rhythm, you're more inclined to throw it inside, but if you're off, you're worried and you throw it out?
I thought that was a good throw. I thought Lionel Bro had to drag his left foot in bounds. That was the first time it looked like everything was going right offensively on one given play.
That's on the receiver for sure. 3rd and 20. Snead fires short. Rowe makes this catch, gets hammered out, but he's way short of the first down. They've just had small windows, small opportunities to make plays tonight against a very good defense and haven't made them.
They haven't taken advantage of their opportunities, Chris, whether it's been missed throws, missed blocks, receivers catching the football but not dragging their feet in bounds, penalties. This offense has been very out of sync.
But it's still the 3rd quarter, and they're still within this football game if they can just get their minds right.
And the freshman Campbell. Ugly low kick. Bouncing down inside the 30. It's going to work out okay. And the pressure goes back on this Ole Miss defense. They've been on the field a long time. Got to get the offense the ball back. Reese at halftime talked about the trend here so far in 09. Each of the first 3 weeks, one of the top 5 ranked teams has gone down. In 2000, it happened. But in 1990, that's the last time the top 5 teams gone down 4 weeks in a row.
We
start the season.
Yeah, but we posed the question on this particular game here. South Carolina at home. Why would it be an upset? Just why was Ole Miss number 4? I mean, you know, early in the year we didn't really know about Ole Miss. Proven out.
Yeah, I mean, they deserve to be the favorite coming in Notre Dame just based on what they had. I mean, clearly this team has talent. It's just not clicking tonight, that's for sure. On the reverse, Brown can't get away and is dropped after about 4 yards. I mean, Craig, you have to admit, I mean, with the way they finished this season, 8-game winning streak coming in, talent on offense, talented defensive line. The components are there. It's just not clicking for whatever reason.
I don't know. I was at the Cotton Bowl and I stood on the field and I watched them play Texas Tech, and I saw Tech jump out to a 14-0 lead, and then they quit. Tech didn't want to be in that game. And I see Ole Miss come back and win, and all of a sudden the euphoric atmosphere, all the hype. Ole Miss, top 10.
You're not giving them much credit for beating the Red Raiders.
I wanted to see it in this season.
Miles can't get away. Again, to remind people, 19 starters, more than 30 players, flu-like symptoms, perhaps the swine flu. They haven't given official diagnosis. So many guys missing practice, missing games, and that's something that Houston not brought up.
You're not trying to find excuses. It was an awkward September schedule for this team. First game on a Sunday against Memphis. They get a bye week. 18 starters out for 9 days because of the flu. And they're playing on a Saturday and now a Thursday. It's been an awkward September.
But they are getting worked over tonight. All credit to South Carolina. 3rd and 5. Garcia running out of time and running near the sidelines. He will not get that first down.
Smart football play. Garcia not running out of bounds. Clock keeps rolling. Just the whole mindset of Garcia. He's just in the feel of this football game.
He's playing a lot more sound, and I think because of that, Steve Spurrier has a lot more confidence in the play calling. He feels like he can open that playbook up and put the game more on his shoulders, even a headsy play like that. No, they don't get the first down, but the clock is moving down, like you said. He's managing this football game extremely well.
Marche Green back. Fair catch at the 28-yard line. ESPNU's got a tripleheader on Saturday at noon Eastern time. Bulls and the Seminoles, a rivalry. Jim Leavitt's waited so long for this game. So long to get a shot at the Noles, and Matt Grothe goes and has a career-ending knee injury. It's tough luck for USF.
Sure is. I mean, they were very excited this year. They have both Florida State and Miami on their schedule. They had a chance to play with the big boys from the state of Florida. And what happens? Their senior quarterback goes down for the season. Awful timing for USF.
So 18 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. If Ole Miss is going to pull this one out on the road, it's going to be a monster final quarter for them. Buster in motion. They hand it to him. And he is dropped for about a yard loss. Little guy went airborne. Mario Jeffrey, one of the talented true freshman recruits, and it's been a great recruiting class for Steve Spurrier, made the play.
Well, they've got a quarter to go. And the number 4 team in the country has a chance with a very talented quarterback to make a statement. It would be a huge comeback, but they're going to need Snead.
End of 3 quarters here. A frustrating night for the Ole Miss offense. And if you're Jevin Snead, you've waited ever since the Cotton Bowl victory for this night. It just has been a nightmare so far.
I think some of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game had the shortest memories, and Jevin Snead's going to need that heading into the 4th quarter. This game has not gone the way he would have liked. Protection has not been great. He's missed some throws. Receivers have fallen down on him, but he's got to put his best game on the field right now.
He's going against a fairly fresh South Carolina defense, only 41 snaps that they've been out there tonight, so he will be challenged by their defense.
Only 118 total yards through 3 quarters. Pressured again. Snead, a fluttering ball way over the head of McCluster, and he went down after the throw. Aaron, what do you have?
Well, there have been times Jevin Snead has looked over at Houston Nutt and just been shaking his head. Before he got onto the field, he stressed to his coaches, we need to hurry this up. We need to go. We need to go faster. That's a couple of times he's looked over and said it again to them, guys.
I'm with you. I like that. I like his idea on that. Pick up the tempo.
Ooh. Another true freshman tonight, DJ Swearinger, grabbed the ankle, forced that wobbly throw. One more time, 3rd and long. Pressure again. Norwood hits him in and out of the hands, almost intercepted. Norwood got there, cut Snead in half, and they're now 1 for 10 on 3rd down.
All right, again, Eric Norwood, we know, leads the school in sacks. Outside, they're going to pull out of there. They're not going to rush, but 3. You know what? 3 rushers. Norwood still finds a way to get to the quarterback.
And somehow middle linebacker Shaq Wilson drops that football. You have to have the killer instinct mentality. You can end this game now if you make that catch back in Ole Miss territory.
That was a slam dunk for Shaq. Couldn't make the play. I could have. Oh, the punt away, and it's partially blocked, so no flag. Norwood got there again and just hammered the true freshman Tyler Campbell. Got a piece of the ball. And the coach got a piece of him coming off. He's doing a little bit of everything tonight.
Shane Beamer, special teams coach, running over there, getting in the action a little bit. He's got to love the way his special teams have played tonight.
Campbell fortunate to get that one away. It rolled in at the 39. And that's where the Gamecocks will take over, protecting a 13-point lead. The SEC on ESPN. This is Kingsford Tailgate Week. Kingsford Charcoal presenting it. Burger grilling earlier today here. And the South Carolina defense has put Jevin Snead on the grill and turned up the heat here. Very close to being a bonehead play that would have been a 15-yard penalty and a 1st down for Ole Miss, but Eric Norwood just, we think, getting his fingertips on the football. That's the ruling there. Tough to tell.
Yeah, but the official in the background, look at him immediately. The official, that's probably one of those just where you hear it, right?
You hear it and you look at the ball flight, the way it's spiraling.
Campbell didn't complain, the punter. So it's Garcia back to work at the 39. We're going to throw in 1st down. Lob just out of bounds.
Smart play by Stephen Garcia. I would argue that in years past, he may have taken a sack there. He may have tried to force a football there. But you see, again, an example of the game management, what he's learned to do to help his team stay in games.
Avoiding a bad play. You know, he's done it now a few times tonight. We've seen him break the pocket and avoid a sack or a bad play.
Now they may be forced to throw on 2nd and 10. 4 receivers to the right. And Garcia wanted to go left, escapes Hardy, and dumps it off incomplete to Kenny Miles.
I think a lot of players thought they heard a whistle. It looked like there's only 2 people playing full speed on that play. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but a lot of confusion.
Looked like a rugby match, and they're waiting for the ball to get thrown in the middle.
Pretty obvious right there that Greg Hardy not himself tonight. He's had that ankle problem. The guy that had 8.5 sacks and a broken foot last year. Had to sit out Saturday, but he'd hoped to be closer to 100%. He's trying to go, but not himself, clearly. So 3rd and 10. Miles to the right of Garcia. Rebels rush 5, and it's a draw. Miles gets away, doesn't get the first down.
Judging by that play call right there, Craig, you think that Steve Spurrier understands his defense is playing a great game right now. If they can punt the football down and pin Ole Miss back deep in their end, he loves the way his guys are doing it on the defensive side of the ball.
A couple of incompletions, though, didn't do much to bleed the clock on that possession.
No, it sure didn't. But I tell you what, Jevin Sneed and that Ole Miss offense, they ought to be huddled up together with a fire in their eye.
Now it's really getting serious, right?
I'm telling you, boys, you're getting down there now.
Haven't had it very much. Haven't done very much with it. It's a low boot. Green, fair catch in traffic at the 16. So poor field position for Sneed to work with. Down by 13.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's, it's a whole new neighborhood. And in part by Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Intramural flag football last night. A catch. That doesn't draw you a flag at intramurals. The referee was standing right there. That guy who did the flip is one of the 3 students right into the cocky costume.
Intramural football is the best. My roommate in college, Jeff Tholen, I know he's listening tonight. He played intramural football back at the University of Florida. I used to go check him out during the week. He was a baller playing quarterback.
And he's shocked to get some love tonight.
Oh, yeah.
McCluster in the tailback slot, and he's got it. Number 22 shows some quicks. Picks up about 11. Culliver on the stop as we check back with Reese in the studio. Reese?
All right, Chris, time for a Sports Center right now. Sean O'Hare leads the Tour Championship by a stroke over Tiger Woods. Tiger only has himself to blame. He gave O'Hare some putting tips earlier this week. O'Hare rolled in a 56-footer during his round. Wayne Gretzky resigns as head coach of the Coyotes. Dave Tippett hired as his replacement. Coyotes all kinds of financial difficulties. Sports Center after the game.
Reese, thank you. They've gotten a spark here. McCluster at the tailback position for the 2nd straight play. Somersaults after about a 7-yard gain.
Well, Ole Miss's offense is making huge strides in this series right here. Their previous 2 series were 41 seconds and then 40 seconds. That tells you a little bit about lack of execution there.
Jevin Sneed told us heading into the SEC part of their schedule, it was, quote, real ball time. I'd argue this is real ball time right now here in the 4th quarter.
McCluster, 36 yards rushing on 6 carries, but not the number of touches they hope to get for him. Brandon Bolden, high formation tailback on 2nd down. Can't get away. Norwood, another tackle.
I really thought coming into this game, with the physicality of Ole Miss's offensive line and those big running backs, I thought they'd be able to wear down South Carolina defensively, particularly on the inside part of the line where they didn't have a lot of depth. Give Ellis Johnson a lot of credit, Craig. His defense has really stepped up tonight.
Led by number 40, Eric Norwood. You saw the attack from the linebacker position. He's been working on that point of attack, getting at it, going to the offender.
A short list of guys who are 3-year All-SEC players in the history of this conference, and he's on his way. McCluster stumbled, needed about 2.5 on 3rd down. They're going to spot him short. It's going to be close. So 4th down.
We asked Ken Austin, Ole Miss's offensive coordinator, how he wanted to use Dexter McCluster in this game. He said, we wanted to be really smart with his touches. We wanted them to count. We don't want to overuse him because he's not a big guy. We don't want to beat him up.
It's
time to use him right now.
Throw it out the window. Give it up. Get him the ball.
Whatever.
Not necessarily on this down, though. 4th and short, I wouldn't be giving it to the light bridges. I give it to somebody who's got some
He's
push.
in the game, though. Sneed, is he going to sneak it? Yes. And Sneed, 220 pounds, leans across the 40 for a 1st down. Aaron?
It's just an observation from the sideline. This Ole Miss offensive line is worn out. Guys are starting to put their hands on their knees, just bend over, gasping for breath. Tired guys over here.
Aaron, they haven't been on the field that much. Again, some of these guys have missed practice time with the flu and all that. They did play on Saturday, short week. It's the defense that should be tired, not the offense. Fresh set of downs. McCluster out of the backfield. He gets it again. He's not tired. The fresh, quick legs of McCluster picks up almost 10.
You hold your breath when you watch Dexter McCluster run with the football. He's got that game-breaking speed, and it's obvious. But, Craig, we talked to the guys about the flu, and they said the hardest part about it was the conditioning they lost.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet, when you're talking about defending against a great player like McCluster, you better see a lot of pursuit, right, Chris? Guys coming from inside out.
He was hit hard by the flu. McCluster's one of the few guys that had to spend a night in the hospital because his fever was up at 104. He's the quarterback in the Wild Rebel. Hands the ball off. So now they start to get the wrinkles here. Jesse Grandy, a wide receiver, came on the carry, and they get about 4.
To answer your question, you're right. It takes time for the body to fully recover. But I don't believe that that's an excuse that Houston Nutt will have coming out of this game, that it's a lack of body and strength. I think it's just lack of execution. And don't forget, methodical Houston Nutt. He's liable to throw one deep on you at any moment.
Snead bumping into his man as he went back, but has a man wide open, and it's Markeith Summers to the end zone. Just had a feeling, after being contained all night, Snead was going to make a play. Didn't look pretty at the start. He bumped into a blocker, getting back there in a 3-step drop.
Give Jevin Snead a lot of credit because you're right. His timing gets knocked off right away by his fullback, Derek Davis, but he's able to keep his eyes downfield. And Markeith Summers just gets behind the secondary. Where was the coverage?
Fell asleep.
Second touchdown for Summers. Rebels having to rush a man out there for the extra point try. 85 straight for Joshua Sheen. Make it 86. So, such a frustrating evening for this Ole Miss offense. But suddenly, there's life. And the Gamecocks, who couldn't put them away, are now up by just 6 after the Summers touchdown. It took more than 50 minutes for Ole Miss to find the end zone. 83 yards on that 8-play drive. Only 118 yards for the whole game coming in. Houston Nutt going to his defensive coordinator, Tyrone Nix, said, come on, big guy. Dial it up. Get us the ball back.
Oh, and you can see right now the look, not only the football team, but the fans sense. Jevin Snead and Ole Miss may have woken up with that little drive there, may have broken through.
Knowledgeable crowd. They know that when you dominate a team in the SEC, a team as talented as Ole Miss, you got to try to put them away. Gamecocks weren't able to do that. Now it's just a 6-point game as Andrew Ritter boots it deep. And here is Bryce Sherman, the 5'5" freshman. Spins out of a tackle, but doesn't get the 20. Another reminder that number 9 Miami visiting the Hokies on Saturday. Ja'Cory Harris on a hot streak, rolling in. It's Bud Foster's defense. Some will see Cal, Oregon, a very important game out there in the Pac-10. Illinois, Ohio State, and Big Ten country. More log on ESPN.com.
Virginia Tech, very uncharacteristic on defense this year. They've allowed 14 runs of 15 yards or more. That's the most given up in the country. You would not expect that from one of their defenses run by Bud Foster.
You heard Mark talking at halftime. Some ugly stats on run defense. Another first down throw from Spurrier and another incompletion. They're being aggressive, but they're not bleeding the clock much with the lead here.
Their last possession, they had an incompleted pass on second down, and they had a 7-yard run.
And minute 9's all they chewed up.
That's it.
Again, I think you're seeing Steve Spurrier more confident in his quarterback to put the game on his shoulders. It's up to this offense to respond with a huge drive right now.
They got to deal with that defensive line if they're going to do it, running or passing.
Hardy playing in that bad ankle, got the pressure on the first down miss. Garcia in traffic, just throws it low to Brown. He's missed his last 5.
Steven Garcia has not completed 50% of his passes today. He is a little bit dinged up, but when guys are open, you have to deliver the football accurately. There are yards to be made, yards after the catch for these wide receivers, but Steven Garcia needs to deliver the football.
Well, you know, we talked about how South Carolina's defense was fresh. Now all of a sudden you've got an Ole Miss defense that's had a lot of break time sitting on that bench. They're fresh.
3rd and 10, must convert for a 4th straight 3-and-out. 2 on the play clock. 1. You just get it off. Garcia has protection this time. Flips it across to Brown, who bobbles it. That may have cost him the first down. Had to collect the football on the carom, and Alan Walker stopped him.
It's not going to be very difficult for this Ole Miss defense. If they get South Carolina in 3rd and 10, they can afford to play those big zones, drop 8 guys, and allow everything in front of them and just play downfield and make tackles.
Still have a clean catch. I think he makes the first down.
That's a great point you make there, Chris. But, you know, here's an offense that turned over and converted 3rd down 6 of their first 12 or 13 times. And now the last several series when it's 3rd down, they can't get it done because it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, they checked out, guys.
Clock running inside of 9 minutes. Shea Green stands at his 30. And it's off the side of Lanning's foot. Green on the hop. Takes it at the 25. He'll throw a flag. He called a fair catch, but then didn't field it. Can't grab it on the bounce. I believe that's what the flag is. Ugly punt, but it'll be effective.
See how Ole Miss's offense is able to respond now. See if they've kind of lit that fire underneath them. See what kind of rhythm Jevin Snead's able to get into here on this series.
The receiver gave an invalid fair catch, then ran with the ball. Delay of game on the receiving team. 5 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
No, I think he was just saying get away from it. That is not a fair catch signal.
Wow, that's sure not, is it?
That's the universal signal for get away from the ball. It's just a 5-yard penalty, but Rebels will set up at the 20-yard line.
All right, you're saying how will Ole Miss's offense respond? How will South Carolina's defense respond?
Good questions. McCluster on the handoff. Gets ahead of steam. Shows that speed. Boy, he has been the story in the 4th quarter.
I love it. I love the play calling by Kent Austin here, just dialing it up and finding different creative ways of getting their best player on offense the football.
He lost his shoe, which is why they're Hurley trying to put it on. And meanwhile, big man down on the field. It's Culliver for the Gamecocks. Junior free safety. Took him a long time to get McCluster involved at the tailback position.
Their whole offense, it just didn't get going early on, right? And so the first half, they sat on the sidelines most of the game, and it was 3 and out. Now you've got McCluster back there, and it's you know, when you've got the speed right here that he has, McCluster forces the defense to turn and run, and they lose their lane responsibilities.
He's such a dominant player, and last year him and Percy Harvin were the only 2 guys in the SEC to be in the top 10 in rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions, total yards. He's a dynamic playmaker that Ken Austin, the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss, understands right now with the game on the line, he needs to force feed him the football.
Now, before Nutt arrived, brought the wild rebel from Arkansas, McCluster didn't do much running. He had 14 rushes the first 2 years here. Last year, rushed for 655. Tonight, hasn't got a single pass as a receiver. It's been always a runner.
It doesn't matter what you've done the first few quarters of a football game. There are 4 quarters for a reason, right? You play the 60 minutes, and that's why Ole Miss now has a chance late in the 4th quarter.
There's a whistle now.
I'll tell you who the pressure's on right now. It's Ellis Johnson, a defensive coordinator. He had to figure out how to shut McCluster down last year in the football game.
Remember, it's a defense that had a lot of guys hurt this year. A lot of players were suspended this year. There's a lot of young guys on the field. They're going to get tested right now.
There was a role reversal. Last year, Rebels' offense was shut down in the second half by Johnson's adjustments. It was the Gamecocks dominating the second half in Oxford. Oh, wait.
And yesterday in our meeting with Ellis Johnson, he drew up on the eraser board the different formations that he tried to do. You know, 3-3 look at the front up there, 3-3-5. It was 4 linemen, and he changed up the look. He's pretty basic right now, though.
Buster got 6 on first down. He's still in the game, tailback position. It's Hodge in motion. Dexter again. Keeps those quick feet moving. Only gets a couple to be 3rd and short.
Ken Austin had told us that he wanted to use Dexter McCluster wisely. I don't think he wanted to run him in between the tackles and let him get beat up, but out of necessity right now, it's interesting. Ole Miss has kind of abandoned the physical run game with those big running backs, and they put the small guy in.
He surprises me, though, with his power.
Yeah.
Does he not? I mean, he gets hit, and there's another yard or two.
It's hard to get a clean hit on him.
There he is at about 170 pounds, being generous. The tailback on 3rd and 2. He takes the pitch. They get him in space. McCluster fighting for the corner. Doesn't get the first down. Mario Jeffrey, talented true freshman, staying at home there. It'll be 4th down.
And you know what? You're talking about great effort by this South Carolina defense, because when you've got open space right here, this is tough. Was there a face mask involved?
Like they got
it looks
the
like
mask.
he turned his head. Absolutely grabbed the mask, turned the head.
Matthews was there. They didn't catch it. So Ole Miss in a punt formation on 4th and 1. And they will kick it away. August takes it at the 19. So 6:28 to go. Gamecocks sitting on a 6-point lead. They have the ball with 6:28. Did Matthews grab the face mask of McCluster in that previous play? It wasn't called.
I absolutely believe this is a missed call here. There's a grab underneath on the face mask. The head turns. At the end of the rule, it states, when in doubt, if there's a question, it's a penalty. That's a missed call.
And a 15-yard penalty.
Yes.
No call. Gamecocks take over at the 19. This is Kenny Miles, a 1st down run this time. Not much there. Aaron, what do you have?
Chris, we just found out while Ole Miss was on offense, their entire power was shut off over here on their sidelines. No signals, no plays, nothing was coming down from the press box. I was asking some of the people over here, how are they getting plays or anything? And they said they weren't. They just did their own over here on the sidelines. Power is restored, by the way, so we're all good.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear, because if one side loses power, the other side's got to take the headsets off, too, by rule.
2nd and long again. 4th possession in a row.
Run it.
They fake it. Garcia may end up running it, and he'll take another sack. Short loss. Juan Scott got him.
I really think you got to bleed the clock right now if you're South Carolina on offense. And Craig, we've documented it all night. This is a very good defensive front they're going against. It's not easy, but with the game on the line, less than 6 minutes now, bleed the clock.
Don't play to lose.
No.
And I think that's part of what Steve was saying the last 2 possessions. We're going to throw it on 1st down. We're going to be aggressive, but it wasn't working.
Do you agree that Houston Nutt should have punted the ball there in 4th and 1?
Yes, I do. Absolutely, just for this reason right here. You know, your defense is stuffing them.
Whistle before the snap.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense number 5. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
Garcia trying to use every second. Takes 5-yard penalty. Makes it even tougher.
It's the little things that hurt you and bite you. Dropping interceptions, penalties. The really good teams don't do that. They don't lose games for themselves. And right now, South Carolina is really making it hard on themselves to stay on top and win this thing.
How cautious will they be now on 3rd and 14?
Screen.
Pressure. Garcia dropped. Coming off the edge, Greg Hardy. Sucking it up, playing hurt tonight, makes a huge stop. He beat Quentin Richardson on the outside.
Hardy's the guy that when he's healthy is about as good as they are in America. Look at from the left side here. Look at the push and the speed.
They told us Greg Hardy was 80% coming into this game, and Tyrone Nix, the defensive coordinator, told us an 80% Greg Hardy is better than most starting defensive ends if they're 100%. You see that ability and the toughness playing hurt, making a big play when it counts.
Yeah, he was limping around in the warm-up. The game-time decision, they go with him. 5 straight 3-and-outs, and there's an ugly punt. He's just trying to get away from it. And rolls dead at the 40. Again, didn't look good like most of this game, but it was effective. 54 yards. As we see the current top 10, we figured if that streak was going to continue of top 5 teams losing, the best chance for it here tonight or in Happy Valley, where Iowa brings that good defense against Paterno's team.
Well, you know what? When you look at this here, you see Penn State, like you say, with Iowa coming in there. LSU's an unknown. Really, you know, LSU's one of those top 10 teams that you're sitting there thinking, okay, who's there? By default, and just kind of the way they've shuffled up, Ole Miss is here at number 4. This is going to be a really interesting, fun year to see who's number 2 playing for the national championship.
We saw Miami play live last week against Georgia Tech. Did you guys think they were a top 10 team after week 3?
I put them at number 10. I did. What did you do?
I did. Based on what they've done so far, they got 2 quality wins. They had won the road game at Florida State, and I thought that the Knowles win looked better, given what Florida State did to BYU out there in Provo. Tim Simon, the freshman, on the kick return team, looking at his leg.
I got a team for you before we leave that top 10 thought. Cincinnati. I've been big on Cincinnati since the preseason. You talk about
quality wins on the road.
Absolutely, man. That was a really good win last week at Oregon State.
We're going to see them a little bit later on this year on a Thursday night down in Tampa against USF. And Cincinnati perhaps could arrive undefeated into that game. Timeout. Rebels 61 yards away, down by 6. So Tim Simon, the running back, who's on the punt return team, looking at that leg. And we have a moment. Reminder that ABC has NASCAR on Sunday. Mark Martin's got the points lead. Jimmy Johnson very close behind. We're in Dover, Delaware. Coverage begins Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Telecast presented by Burger King. Nice ovation from the crowd. Simon is wheeled off. So another 3-and-out, 5 in a row, forced by that Ole Miss defense. And now Snead, off their first touchdown drive of the night, 2 possessions ago, gets it back at the 39.
How about the fake of a jet sweep to McCluster that's been working? Play action down the field.
They have 2 timeouts left in their pocket. Lots of time to drive this football down the field.
But don't you have to approach this drive like it's going to be your last possession?
Absolutely. No question.
McCluster in the tailback position. Gets to the outside. Dexter McCluster in the South Carolina territory. They waited a long time to put the little guy at tailback, but he's having a huge fourth quarter.
There's no mystery to it right now. They're dialing up whatever they can in the simplest way possible to get their best player on offense with the football. And if that means lining them up in the I formation and running in between the tackles, Craig, so be it.
And I can tell you this right now. If South Carolina does not attack at the point of attack, they will have no shot of catching McCluster. He'll run right by them.
He's got it again. Hurdles a man in the backfield. Has to fight to get back to the line of scrimmage.
But this game has set up perfectly for Ole Miss. Chris, you said it earlier. You said, you know what, they've just been laying around. They haven't knocked them out, and Ole Miss just laying low in the weeds, waiting to come back.
This is a team loaded with talent. They didn't look very good for 3 quarters, but the Gamecocks were not able to stick a fork in it. And McCluster and Snead and Hodge, these guys can play. McCluster has carried the ball the last 6 Ole Miss plays. But on 2nd and 10, Snead fires, far side, caught. Pat Patterson, the true freshman, has a first down. He's another guy that they think has a huge future. Mississippi High School Player of the Year.
He's a guy that offensive coordinator Kent Austin really likes because he says he's got strong hands. He's very, very physical and very difficult to bring down. He said when the ball's up in the air, he'll go fight for it. That's good traits to have right now on offense on this final drive.
You see that little smile from Steve Spurrier, kind of a helpless feeling. Watching his defense trying to stop Ole Miss.
You know, strategically now, South Carolina's been bunching up in the box to stop McCluster. That's opening up man-to-man on the outside. You've got 8 around the box right now.
Here's a wrinkle. It's Bolden. Not McCluster, the wild rebel to the big physical runner. Muscles ahead for a short gain. Ole Miss content to let this clock run down inside 2:20.
Steve Spurrier smiling over there on the sidelines because he told us he's expecting dogfights now, week in and week out. Long gone are the days of Florida where they score 50 and they play the true freshmen and all the walk-ons late in the game.
They had to hang on against NC State, right? Break a pass up late. Had a drive fail the Georgia goal line. They've been in 2 of these games already.
4-down territory. That's why, Chris, they can be patient. They're planning on keeping the ball.
Snead, it's a reverse. McCluster has it. Thought about throwing. Cuts it back and takes a big shot. Darian Stewart, the senior, delivered the blow. Came in with a stinger. A shoulder injury. Delivered a stinging shot there.
I just said a play or two ago that if you're going to stop McCluster, you better go attack him, right? Now, if McCluster could throw the ball, it'd been big time. Go get him.
And how about freshman defensive end Devin Taylor staying home, keeping his containment, not biting on the first sweep, but getting ready for the double reverse.
Was he trying to pass the ball there? You think he looked like he was trying to line the laces up. He's 0 for 5 with 2 picks in his career passing. They tried a little bit of throwing out the old wild rebel last year. Didn't quite do it as well as McFadden does.
He'd have been 0 for 6 if he'd have tried there. The receiver had outrun his arm.
What do you think on 3rd and 12?
Yeah, get you 5 or 6. Get manageable, right?
Exactly. You don't need the whole thing right now. This is the final drive. This will be your last possession. If you're Ole Miss, you need to get some of this yardage back. You still have 1 timeout left, but give yourself an opportunity to continue moving the chains.
And the rain breaks out in Columbia. Norwood knows if he can make 1 more big play, the Gamecocks will have the win. 1 of 12 on 3rd down tonight, and they need 12. Snead chased. Sacked. Matthews got him. Again lost his helmet, but made a big play. 4th and 14.
And Dexter McCluster wasn't even in the game. You know, he's the best player on their team's not in the game on a critical 3rd down attempt.
And now they'll spend their final timeout to talk about a 4th down call.
Give Ellis Johnson, the play caller on defense for South Carolina, a ton of credit. In some crucial situations tonight on big down and distances, he's been able to dial up some pressures to get after Jevin Snead. Now we'd expect on this final play, something that's been working is when they only rush 2 or 3 guys, let those defensive tackles just kind of spy Jevin Snead, force him to move up, and then get after him.
And the reason the 2 and the 3-man rush has worked is it's lulled to sleep Ole Miss's offensive line. They have got to come out if they're the uncovered linemen and help on the outside because those ends have run right around the corner and they've gotten to Jevin Snead.
So much at stake on this play. Again, Ole Miss ranked as high as they are at number 4 for the first time since 1970. This is the game circled on their schedule, their first big test of the season. Do you bring pressure for Ellis Johnson? Do you pressure Snead or do you sit back?
Again, line up with 4 defensive linemen, let the ends pin their ears back and go, line them up wide, and allow those defensive tackles and your Mike linebacker to just spy everything. When the packet collapses, it's like a green dog rush. You just rush on a delay.
Create the umbrella at about 6 or 7 yards. Keep all the receivers in front of you.
Never beaten a top 5 team at home. They're 1 stop away from doing it. And the Rebels out of a timeout and an extra man on the field. Derek Davis was trotting off late. Now it's going to be tougher. 4th and 19.
You saw a coach about 8 yards onto the field trying to get Derek Davis off.
How does that happen out of a timeout?
Just not into it the entire game.
Before the snap, illegal substitution on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 4th down.
See Houston Nutt here at the top of the screen. He's about 8 yards on the field trying to get his fullback off. You're right. They talk about personnel groupings during that timeout. Who's going on the field? This isn't the CFL.
You know what I'd like in this play here? You know what I'd really like is a hook and lateral. Get the ball in Dexter McCluster's hands somehow, some way.
He's in the slot, Craig. Snead fires downfield. Incomplete. Battling for the ball was Darian Stewart and Shea Hodge. Gamecocks going to upset the number 4 team. There's a flag down. So hold on. Near hash mark in conference.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 40 on the defense, taking his helmet off. The penalty is 15 yards from the succeeding spot. First down.
They got Eric Norwood after the play. I guess he's entitled to feel good about himself after this effort.
He's had a monster game. He's made big plays. This defense has stepped up when they needed to. What a win for the program. Only the second time in school history they've beaten a top 5 team.
Had to have it in the SEC race. Had a chance to win at Georgia. It slipped away. They knew they couldn't drop to 0-2 in the conference. And for Ole Miss, they're not going to get that first 3-0 start since '89. They'll drop to 0-1. Got to go to Vanderbilt next week. And then the game that everybody down in Oxford had pointed to for a long time. Crimson Tide coming there.
You know what? Ole Miss will have a fine football season. This is a football team that just hasn't gotten it on track yet. All of the distractions and the things that we talked about earlier. But rest assured, Ole Miss is a good football team, and Jevin Sneed will come on.
Let me ask you this question. South Carolina was 1 play away from beating a ranked Georgia team on the road. How good is South Carolina?
I think they're a top 15 football team, easily.
Oh, okay.
Easily.
They also came close to losing to NC State, the game that you guys saw.
They won, but they won.
They did.
While you were on the couch watching U.S. Open, they did win.
They won, and they lost to Georgia.
They did.
Wrangler 5-star player of the game, Stephen Garcia. It wasn't always pretty. Doesn't complete 50%. 220 yards and a touchdown. And they just bring those automatic goalposts down. and the players are rushing the student section as Aaron Andrews fighting to get near Steve Spurrier on the field. Clock ticking down to 5 seconds. Frustrating night for Jevin Sneed and a good one for Steve Spurrier. Aaron?
Coach, I know you've been a part of some pretty big wins in your career, but this is the first time you've beaten a top 5 team at home. What does that mean?
We beat Kentucky here a couple years ago, but our defense was really sensational. Our offense, we couldn't make a first down in the 4th quarter.
That defense, what was key in getting pressure on Jevin Sneed all night?
All of our players played their assignments very well tonight on defense. And really proud of our entire team. It's a good win for South Carolina. Hopefully we get a little bit of offense going, but it's a great win for all of our fans and the university.
All right, Coach, thanks. Chris?
You knew he wasn't going to be happy with the win because the offense wasn't good. The Gamecocks had righted the ship. South Carolina State and Kentucky the next 2 games that got them here at home.
Don't blow what you did tonight.
Savor that fact. Whether Ole Miss really was a top 5 team in reality, that's for you to decide. They will certainly be dropping out of the top 10 after this loss. 16-10 South Carolina Sports Center coming up next. John Anderson and Scott Van Pelt. ESPN News, we have post-game extra. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Craig, Jesse, and Aaron, our entire team in Columbia. I'm Chris Fowler. So long for now. The Rebels go down. Gamecocks win at 16-10.